Let's lower that down. Start up the music, and we're gonna get started here very quickly. A lot of games to run through, and it shouldn't take too long. Should be a nice little, short little, fun little cast thing today. Make sure we have all our stuff up. And what's up, Hangs, man? I picked Group 36 specifically because I saw you. I was like, I know that these are some good games, so. So if you don't have good games, it's your fault. We're casting Group 36 now. Oh no, that is rough to hear. So are you like tier 1 yet, or what's up with that? I thought you were tier 2 last season, right? I'm pretty sure like Melody and SOStoss are tier 1, like pretty high up there. I know for sure SOStoss is. Tier 1 last season. I might be getting it mixed up with season 7 then? I'm not sure. But still ass. I mean, that's everyone at every point in this game. Just always constant ass. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and get started. Hop into it. We have to get through Group 9 and then Group 36. Group 9 we have A-Bug, Justice, User. You can still lose when you win. That is very true. And Zoey in Group 9, and then in Group 36, Hangs, Melody, SesioM, SOStoss, and Kraazy. There's so many games where it's just like, oh yeah, this is easy. Or it's like you win, and then it's like, oh, I did everything wrong, and I don't deserve that, but I don't know. Excited to see A-Bug versus Zoey? Exactly. A lot of good games, I think, coming up. First match, I think, is A-Bug versus Justice in a Zerg v Zerg. And what better way to get started than just hit that OK button? Let's hop right into the replay and test some StarCraft games. We're gonna have a lot of there's a lot of really cool matchups here I'm excited for. So in the top right corner, I'm gonna do A-Bug first. In the bottom left corner, we have, as the orange Zerg, a Bug. Hey Dada, how's it going? And in the top right corner, as the blue Zerg Brood, we have Hecho and Mexico, which I'm pretty sure in the CPL list is Justice. We're gonna get into our Zerg versus Zerg stuff. Our wonderful ZVZ-ness. Yeah. I mean, I'm just excited. I just like seeing links kill each other. That's really all I'm here for. It's fun to watch. Alright, Extractor trick coming out from Hecho and Mexico. Looks like A-Bug is going to be doing the same thing. So we have mirror builds on either side to try to increase your AP. I know, I'm awful for that. I have a fucking terrible caster curse. I just am clicking randomly on things. Got 2 overlords. Looks like we have a hatch first tier from A-Bug and a pool first tier from Hecho and Mexico. So this was like double extractor trick into 10 pool, followed by a 12 hatch. So, SesioM, you missing the melody versus shall I DM you the replay? Yeah, if you want to DM me that replay, that would be great. There were only 6 replays in that folder, so I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the overlay again to be like, what do I have? I appreciate you not acknowledging the time change. That would have been too early. Oh, shit! The time change. I actually completely forgot that there was a time change, and you know what? That explains so much as to like why I literally I didn't even know the time change happened. I just woke up and it was like 9:15 and I was like, oh, okay. Check the carbon monoxide detectors. That might be it. I was feeling a little woozy waking up. I didn't realize that it was weirdly 9:15 instead of 8:15. Okay, so here's an interesting fact. Justice doesn't have any Zerglings. They've just been going straight one basin layer, and they're getting like a bunch of creep colonies. And they know that A-Bug is flooding lings across the map. They like same testers a little later in NL Sunday in 2 weeks. So done. Fucking Ben Franklin, dude. Ben Franklin did so much, and kind of sick of that dude. Alright. So the Zerglings are in the main, but with 2 Sunkens in like pretty okay spots. I'm not sure exactly what the I'm not sure what exactly the play here from A-Bug is, and I think A-Bug knows what the plan is. They're getting that Evo chamber and droning up, and they're going to be basically containing Justice on the Ling front, and then transitioning over into Spore colonies to defend against the Mutalisks, and then just trying to like flip into that having a better economy than their opponent. Specifically 2 gases, that's the big thing. Listen. Tries A-Bug is putting pressure on you, they need to get rid of it. Personally, biggest time is actually 24. Huh. Dot in the chat schooling us on time zones, and meanwhile Hecho in Mexico is just getting they got a shitload of lings and are going to be counter pushing on A-Bug, who has been spending all their larvae getting drones. Now it looks like they are probably going to throw down a Sunken or 2 to defend this, because I mean that is like right. A-Bug is put a lot of resources into defending against mutas, thinking their opponent was going to just go mass onto mutas, but really, that was such a good drone surround, because the Zerglings aggro on the other Zerglings first, and now with the drones just get so much free damage and blocking. That is crazy. That was a really good play there by A-Bug, just pulling the drones in order to have a custom concave. Yeah, so now when we're looking at this game, it's like an entirely Justice lost so many Zerglings, right? And it was kind of like that gamble where it was like, hey, you're spending so much resources in defending against Mutalisk, here's a shitload of Zerglings, and then A-Bug just defended the Zerglings too. And now Blue is expanding, as pointed out by Hangs in the chat. They have a couple mutas to be able to defend their bases, and I think they're going to have to maybe try and turn this into a bit... They have to expand to match the macro, right? And they have to kill these Zerglings. The only issue is that A-Bug has so many Spore colonies up, so it's really hard for Blue to actually get any it's really hard for blue to actually get any damage done on the Zergling line, on the drone line, right? Because the mutas will dive in, maybe pick off a drone or two. But yeah, A-Bug is just gonna really enjoy that advanced economy here. You can look how just the resources, right? And now soon A-Bug will they're already getting, well, both players are getting Carapace, but A-Bug, again, they're going to be able to just outproduce Mutalisks compared to their opponent. Now the Zerglings are coming in, they're going to try and snipe that creep colony that was coming up. So yeah, I think blue is going to, Mexico is going to be able to get into like the double gas here as well, but I think they just really need to just start spending all their money on mutas. I don't like going for the evolution chamber here, specifically because, like, you know that your advantage is having Mutalisks, and you know that your opponent over-prepared for your Mutalisk aggression. So I'm not really, I'm not buying this evolution chamber creep colony thing. Like, unless you're planning to go for an insanely long game. But if that's the case, I think you really just need to drone up more, get your second gas as fast as possible. +1 attack coming out here for Mexico as well. So we have 7 Mutalisks compared to the 9 of A-Bug. And so this is the kind of thing where, like, that evolution chamber and that spore colony could have just been an extractor, and we could have been mining for that. We could have been mining the gas, and that would have been able to let Mexico kind of keep up on the mute account, right? Well, and it is just they need the extra drones. I mean, there's another spore colony up here in the main, so that's like 3 extra drones that could have been drones mining minerals to spend this bank here. So we can see A-Bug is moving across the map, and Mexico still only has these 7 Mutalisks, whereas A-Bug has been consistently producing Mutalisks, and they're going to double attack with the Zerglings they have left over, and they have 4 Scourge to make this fight as easy as possible. Hecho might get baited out over these cliffs, and that's where the Zerg are going to pounce on top of the Mutalisks. Looks like the Scourge are just going to dive in, and yep, they definitely, it looks like 3 hit on 1 Muta, but again, it's just the overwhelming Muta count that are able to fight over the Spore Colony, and A-Bug should just be able to muscle their way through this fight here. The Zerglings taking out the Spore Colony, I mean, that is just going to be the game, right? There's no way that Mexico can actually do anything here. They're going to lose the expansion. They're going to lose all these Overlords. They're going to lose this Spore Colony right here. And A-Bug with a really clean attack. Ooh, Scourge v Scourge, Scourge v Scourge, violence on violence. Okay, yep. See, a Muta spawns and immediately gets taken out. A-Bug tried to micro it out, and yeah, with 2 Mutalisks and 4 Zerglings left, this base was going I don't know, actually even know if this base would die, right? If Head should have built a couple Mutas, maybe it could have worked, but yeah, that was a great game from both players. I liked the moves by Mexico. I just feel like that last decision to go into like that really defensive style instead of constantly producing Mutalisks, because every Spore Colony is probably an extra Mutalisk. The Evolution Chamber is roughly an extra Mutalisk, and then when you factor in that you have like 4 extra drones mining, you could probably still outproduce your opponent on Mutas. So yeah, I think they should have just been like, I'm the aggressor here, and so I just need to keep that Muta production up to keep that advantage that I have, instead of trying to switch into that heavy like spore like defensive position, because in ZVZ usually you don't want to get spores unless you're behind, and so if your opponent gets spores and you don't, you kind of are like ahead in a lot of ways, unless you're getting into those weird Hydra games, in which case you just don't. Okay, so that was A-Bug versus Justice. A-Bug takes it with 1-0. Our next game is going to be A-Bug versus User. That's the wrong list. That's the wrong list. There we go. A-Bug takes it 1-0. And A-Bug versus User. Give me 1 second. Okay. Okay. This is going to be a Zerg versus Protoss. Okay, let's load this game up, get our screen switched over. Add to up. Oh, no. Okay. And let's hop right into it. It's got a replay delivered. Putting my append to the back of this. In the top right corner, we have a bug playing Protoss. A bug is denying me a Zerg versus Zerg. User 3022211 is playing a Zerg with an idle drone. That drone is contemplating his life choices. He's wondering, what does it really mean to be a Zerg drone? What does it mean to have 5 spines that you shoot with 40 HP? What does it mean? Is this replay broken? No. Okay, the drone does finally decide to go mine minerals as user 3022111 I guess returns from the bathroom. So I'm not sure what Scouting Overlord is now Rick Grimes. So as user 3022211 is beginning to mine, the Scouting Overlord here realizes his independence. He is not just a simple overlord. He is actually this overlord is actually Walking Dead main character, household name, Rick Grimes. Also, Walking Dead main character and Magic the Gathering card, Rick Grimes. Yeah, so here is, we got Zerg mining, spawning pool being made. A-Bug is Protoss, so I am immediately rooting against them because they denied me a ZVZ. Looks like, yeah, Forge Nexus because it was an overpool and a kind of really delayed overpool so that you can build photon cannons. What? But I'm no, I don't care. my main goal is not to see Protoss win. My main goal is to watch his EVZs. No way. So A-Bug, if A-Bug slides down here and also takes this gas, that would be fucking hilarious. So, gas steal in ZVZ is usually really bad. A-Bug's first zealot is named Coral. Okay, we got Rick Grimes. He's coming over here, getting dangerously close to these photon cannons. But the reason why gas steal, you don't really want to see that in ZVZ a ton, is because the Zerg usually just gets their second expansion for free, and they can just take this. Rick Grimes flying right into the photon cannon. No. Oh, he's a survivor. I've never watched a single episode of Walking Dead, so I have no idea what Rick Grimes' character actually is. All I know is that he does stuff. Yeah, so see, user could just come down here and build this gas and then be mining from it, but also Zerglings tear down assimilators very fast. Third hatchery coming up, and first zealot being produced. If you want to know what Walking Dead is, just get one friend to walk around slowly moaning. I thought they showed that show on television. What? I thought that show was about zombies. Well, you yell at someone smaller than you. And here we have Carl the Zealot. Coral the Zealot out here. A lot of Zerglings streaming across the map as users just getting their 3 hatches up, getting their extractor up finally, and they're going to start mining gas. Unfortunately, they kind of have been, their drone count is getting pretty low. There's only 14 drones so far, and a failed attack on the natural. Coral holds the line. I think, actually, this might be Coral. In the chat, people are popping off. So I'm gonna make montage videos of the team's games every week. I have dibs on him. Champion. You know that the fix is in, buddy. Like, you know, we have a man on the inside. Scimo, I appreciate that you zoom in on. Don't listen to Dot. This is the cast that you get when I am 2 cups deep in my fucking coffee. I don't know. Anyways. Every possible moment is the hypest moment, okay? This for... You know, I won't do it, Dada. I was gonna just start zooming in on this forge and be like, damn, they are producing +1 though, but I won't. Alright, 6 minutes in for a what? Why is a robo at 6 minutes? Is this the robo? Why? What? So we're gonna have extremely fast reavers? That's cool. So A-Bug going for a very fast robo and Dragoon range like immediately. And I guess it's okay because back here in the Zerg base, we have 3 sunken colonies at a time when the Protoss hasn't left their base. Oh no. Oh no, the probe. Oh no, the probe. Oh no. Oh. Get him. Save him. Get the probe back to the farm. Holy shit, A-Bug's actually gonna get the expansion out. I also lost track of which Zealot is Carl, so this one is. He's a loner, he's a fucking... Also, as Zerg, hot tip, if your Overlord is over here, just put him over the hidey hole here. Put him in the pervert pillar, and it will. That's good. There's Coral. Probe is Leroy Jenkins. Yes. Now I'm like, every time I zoom in, I'm just I have Dada on my fucking shoulder, being like, why did you do that? Damn it. Yeah. So we have reavers and reaver capacity. I'm here. Here for it. Let's get the 10 Scarab Reavers ready. Reaver capacity, the like, honestly, you know what? I'm here for it because at the lower levels, Reaver capacity is like an anti like micro thing, right? Because it's like, I don't want to have to check my Reavers every 5 shots. I want to have to check my Reavers every 10 shots. First Reaver is Negan. How do y'all have so many channel points? What the fuck? So redeemed in the chat, our first Reaver is going to be Negan. And at the mere thought of it, Rick Grimes fucking retreats, scared of the Negan Reaver. Shouldn't have so many streams. Alright, that'll let us keep track of our units. Need to refund all my points at the end of the stream so I can help you entertain. Just need to keep watching the streams. Alright, so user 302211 has a lot of Hydras, and like was preparing a 2-base 5-hatch Hydra bust, just hitting like 3 minutes later than they're supposed to for it. And at this point, A-Bug has 2 Reavers out, and we're going for the drops. And there's no anti-drop timing here. So I will think that with all these Hydras moving out, what we're going to see is we're going to see a single Reaver drop in the natural, a single Reaver drop in the main, the drone count drop to 0, and user 302211 dropping the hot GGs on their opponent. So here comes the Hydra push, and they honestly could kill this, I think. They're diving on the Reaver that is out, and the Reaver does fall, but 2 Reavers drop out of the shuttles, but user 30221 is pulling back. Reaver, both Scarabs dud. A Bug has their 3rd base up, while user 30221 is just now getting their 3rd base up. Reaver shots come in, both land, both clear out some more Hydralisks, and user's like Hydra count drops again. The shuttle's name is Snugglebug. Okay. So once again we have Leroy Jenkins is somewhere up in here. I'm assuming he's going to live though. Snugglebug transporting Negan, and we lost Leroy Jenkins. Leroy Jenkins is a proud mining worker. We did lose Rick Grimes, I think, in this put. Is this Rick Grimes? This is a different Overlord, right? We lost Rick Grimes. The push with Negan killed him. I don't know if that happens in the show, but I know Negan does have a baseball bat. Leroy is Union. And we lost Negan to the Zerg, I think. Let me make sure. Yes, we did lose Negan. And now Coral is getting in on the fight. And I think we're going to lose him as well. No, well, actually, user 30221 does not have that many forces, but they are going to be able to constantly reinforce off of their 2 bases. I think that... Oh my god. Carl's not dead yet. Carl and Snugglebug are both in this game. Nope, never mind. Carl walks straight into a line of angry tongues, and so do the Dragoons that were backing him up. Carl's supposed to die before them, though. Oh, okay. Well, at least we're kind of. Well, at least they're all dead, so, you know, we're staying in the Walking Dead canon. Now A-Bug finally get their Templar archives. And we have slow Reavers moving across the map. So this was a kind of like a game that was played a few ASLs ago, and it's a game that I'm absolutely fascinated by, because the player did basically this same thing versus Zerg, where they went double robo, mass Reavers, but mass Reavers crawling across the map. And it was the weirdest game to watch, but it just is fascinating. What else is fascinating is user is absolutely going to kill this base. These reinforcing Hydras are not going to be able to save the hatch, and fighting uphill, they are going to trade extremely poorly with these Dragoons. And by extremely poorly, I mean they're going to get absolutely slaughtered. An Overlord flies over, dies as well. And now we have observers out on the map here to sort of see for any lurkers, and there are lurkers that user does not have. Again, only have 35 drones. About 6 of them are caught up here in the 3rd base not mining, so we really only have 29 drones. Yeah, I think A-Bug is just going to be able to squeeze the Zerg dry, and user 3022211 just isn't going to like be able to make any plays and bust out, especially as like all these reinforcements are coming. We have the slow Reavers finally getting over to this high ground. We have another wave of reinforcements over on this high ground that I think A-Bug just wants to, I don't know why they aren't just bringing them and uniting them all up here, but, you know, stagger them out. And A-Bug going for their 4th base. Right, like, it's kind of to the point where, like, look at all these Hydras. I'm pretty sure that these Dragoons could actually just straight up fight these Hydras, even without the Reavers and Zealots. Yeah, look at the supply. 137 Protoss, 59 Zergs. Ooh, that was a disappointing Reaver shot. That was a much better Reaver shot. That was a very juicy Reaver shot, and now we are going into the fight. Another Reaver shot goes down, splashes on the Hydras. It looks like that Reaver is going to fall, but every single Hydra is dead, and once again A-Bug has secured the contain, and user 3022211 is going to have to rebuild their army slowly over time. Reavers properly backed up by units are invincible. That is fair. And now the Reaver is starting to lay siege to the sunken colonies, and these are taking heavy, heavy damage. And I mean, that's going to be the trigger for A-Bug to just A-move in. Or like A-move, am I right? And, yeah, A-Bug having to build Scarabs. That revert capacity. And this base is gonna fall. The drones are somewhere. I don't know. I guess all 30 drones are up in here. But yeah, even the Zerglings spawning aren't gonna be able to do much. Like at a certain point, like Dragoons can kind of look. It got him. Okay, look. Okay, Dragoons are good unit. As much as we like to shit on them, they do an amount of damage, and when you have a load of them, they do a ton of damage. So that is going to be a game for A-Bug winning again, beating Zerg as Zerg and beating Zerg as Protoss. That's going to be A-Bug with 1-0 over user. Did Zerg even have link speed? I don't think Zerg had link speed. I'm pretty sure that was a weird game, all in all, from user. So, like I want everyone to remember that game started with the first drone being made, sitting idle for like 30 seconds. So I'm pretty sure just kickstarted all of users' problems in terms of like their Hydra bust was 3 minutes late. They didn't have link speed. Yeah. Will you add the game I sent you on the spreadsheet? What? On Discord? Yes. Well. Hold on here. I got you. Plus bonus. Because it doesn't really. So we got the game. The spreadsheet that we have, it is yeah, it's by group. So we have a special game to catch up on a group that I casted a little while ago, but we missed a game, and so we're gonna cast it here. All right, our next game is gonna be A-Bug versus Zoey. That's gonna be on Eclipse again. I'm just gonna start it. All right, and Zoey I know is a Protoss, and A-Bug is a bug, and so I don't know what they're playing. They're playing Zerg here, so they're playing ZVZ and ZVP, or they're playing ZVZ and PVZ. Well, they might have changed to race switch after they played ZVZ, in which case, why? It's the best matchup. ZVZ is so fun. But we're gonna have a ZVP, which is also pretty good. So we've seen a bug win PVZ. So now we're gonna watch them do the reverse and win a ZVP and style on this entire group maybe. But in the background we have Zoey to bravely defeat the 2-0 menace that is a bug. Extractor trick there. Looks like we're gonna have an overlord into probably a 12 pooler hatch. So he's gonna get the scout on, and it looks like that drone is gonna be rallied down to make the 12 hatch here. So he's gonna stay on top. Nope, that's a scouting drone. And that drone is gonna make the 12 hatch. So meanwhile, building the forge back at home. And I think once they see the hatch go down, they are going to get their... Oh, the pylon block, the style. They'll love to see that. And so now they're building the hatch off-center, so that once they get Zerglings out, they'll be able to kill the pylon and build their extra hatch. Zoey girl, yeah. Yeah, so Zoey's going to throw down the hatch in the natural and the hatch in the third, so that's good because they'll be able to send the extra mining drones over up into the third base here. Yeah, Zoey coming back in. Got pylons. Pylon's still there. If Zoey actually builds a cannon, I'm gonna be so happy. I want this. The probe knows it has to build a cannon. Please, Zoey, I'm begging you. This probe specifically, I'm begging you. No, the hatch finished. Build the cannon, Zoey. Zoey, do it. I believe in you. Build the fucking cannon, Zoey. Zoey, please. The pool is almost finished. Build the cannon. Build the cannon. Zoey, why? Where's the cannon building at? Where's the cannon's at the third. Zoey, holy shit. Holy shit. Where's the other cannon, Zoey? Zoey, I need a cannon at this natural. Please. Okay, so the cannon absolutely is going to finish at the third, right? There's no way that Zerg actually can stop this. I guess you could, like, try mineral water. No, yeah, so that finishes. And so now this first set of Zerglings are going to have to go and try and maybe save this third or just lose it. Meanwhile, like I said, I would just love to see Zoey build the cannon, like, down in this corner here. Yeah, a bug trying to get a creep colony set up. Ooh, if that probe can catch that drone before it can start. Oh! Dude, oh my god, if that would have been so cool if the probe had actually been able to get right on top of the drone before it could build the creep colony. Alright, and the Zerglings, that's huge actually. They pick off the cannon, and the cannon is focus firing down the creep colony. But the second cannon does finish. Now the thing is, creep colonies do outrange photon cannons. So if you build it back far enough, you will be able to like kill it. But the creep colony finishes and dies immediately. And the probe here in the natural base is going to get picked off also. Again, God, I would have loved to see a cannon put in that corner there. And this hatch is actually going to fall, and that's huge for Zoey. Who, like, behind this is, like, you know, they're getting some zealots, they're pretty comfortable tech up, right? Oh my god. Holy shit. Drone gets out with 2 HP. See, that's why, like, you really want that probe to live, right? Because, the health regen on the drones is just so, like, it's very annoying. I think finally so A-Bug lost a hatchery and they're going straight into lair tech. They'll clear out this pylon and build their second hatchery here, and god, this mining hurts so much. Like, a bug's entire, like, being and plan has been thrown so off by the disruption of Zoey that, like, even, like, being forced to mine like this for so long, right? Because the pylon has been up for how many minutes, and they've been mining from here for how many minutes? And the probe does get the scout, but it does die. I think he really wanted to keep that probe alive in order to get like, just to live up here and see what happens after lair. I feel like you're assuming that mutas are going to come, and it's going to be basically look like a one-base muta play. And so you should probably be getting your photon cannons, your stargates up in the main. But it was just really nice to have the probe up in here and double checking. We have a hidden base here by A-Bug, putting all the way in the bottom right corner of the map. And that's, you know, that's a good plan because it'll take a lot more than Zerglings to clear these photon cannons out. Once you have like 2 set up like this. Or we'll take a inefficient amount of Zerglings, so it's easier to just take this base. So yeah, like with the mutas coming out, like Zoey needs to get like a photon cannon or 2 up in their natural, and especially up in their main. And then it looks like they're just going for like a +1 charge lock Corsair attack. And that is, you know, that probably will be enough to try and put that pressure on A-Bug. We're forcing out sunken colonies in the main. Unfortunately, this sunken colony is a little too exposed. Creep colony takes out the scouting probe, so Zoey knows what's going on. They see the sunken colony, they see the Evo chamber. This colony is set up in a good position, but this one is a little too exposed. It'll get taken out by the zealots pretty quickly. Oh no, A-Bug is still mining awkwardly from this base. Instead, they're building 2 hatches up in this third base. So I think A-Bug is just going for something crazy. What is going on here, A-Bug? I think A-Bug just, it isn't worth their time to stop the mining and get this building up. They'd rather just keep this mining as consistent as possible. Which they shouldn't do. Yeah, the spot looks like it's being constantly blocked by, like, workers, either minerals or gas, so they'd have to, like, issue the stop command on everyone and move them around. Oh, okay, in the chat, Hang says, saying that no. Yes. Why are you building scouts? What? Yes. Dude, scouts kill overlords so fast. Oh my god, I love this. Okay, so A-Bug got Scourge. I'm pretty sure I saw those in the production tab. Yeah, we can see there's a couple sitting over by the third base, right? But god, if scouts aren't just the funniest fucking unit. So a scout will kill an overlord in 8 shots. And so that means that if you get 2 scouts, you can kill an overlord in 4 shots. Which with scouts, with having like an attack as fast as the Corsair, it's actually insane. There's a lot of really fun. Oh my god! And we have our 2 cities built across from each other. Yeah, scouts with the speed upgrade, I believe, are as fast as Corsairs, so they can actually escape from Scourge, right? So the ideal number of scouts, in my opinion, is 4, because that's the point where, like, to get the diminishing returns, you need like 8 scouts. Because 4 scouts will 2-shot overlords, and the only other like step after that is 8 scouts, which will 1-shot overlords. Which, if you get into a really late game scenario, that just gets really funny. Having a control group of scouts with a trapped probe just running around 1-shotting every single Zerg overlord. Right, and we'll see here, like, this scout can just like get this overlord for free. We have some spore colonies set up, and the muta's coming over. Here's the thing, right? Like, the Scout is going to die to just the Scourge, though. So, that's why you don't get Scouts. But both the Sunken Colonies fall, and these mutas are not going to kill these Zealots very fast. The Zerglings don't have +1 armor, so the Zealots are just going to be able to tear through all these Zerglings, tear through all these drones, and like basically kill all the mining that is occurring at this base. However, on the back end, A-Bug is getting a very scary amount of Mutalisks, and you need Corsairs, or you need or Dark Archons, I think is also one of the plays that players at the high level. You can get Dark Archons, Maelstrom the Hydra, the Mutalisks, and then cast Storm on them or have Dragoons pick them off. Holy shit, A-Bug's on Hive Tech already and is getting Adrenalings. They actually, also A-Bug made way too many Sunken Colonies and had to kill one. So A-Bug is just skipping straight to Hive Tech, and with Adrenalings and this many Mutalisks, I think Zoey just will die. Like, Adrenalings, they have Archons, which kills Zerglings and kills Mutas. They have, I love the pack of Photon Cannons here, and A-Bug doesn't know about this base yet, so these Photon Cannons should be able to get up relatively safely, but as soon as A-Bug moves out, their Mutas are going to hug the side of the map and be able to kill this base. If they activate before the Photon Cannons finish, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Or the Zerglings are just going to run up and kill everything because they have adrenal glands. So, oh, they kill the gateway. Yeah, so with the extra Archons, I think if A-Bug takes a bad fight, Zoey can kill them pretty easily. But if they take not a bad fight, they don't really have anything they can do to kind of like angle themselves into a win, right? Like, this is just a straight up, they can A move and they can kind of micro. And with all these Sunken Colonies set up, I'm pretty sure there's just no way. Oh my god, the Zealot hiccups the Archons, and you really need the Archons up here. Corsairs coming in, taking out, hitting the Mutalisks, Archons falling, and Zoey has no army left. They have 4 or 5 gateways and they just leave the game, and honestly that's kind of the appropriate response. They lost their entire army. They'd have to rebuild so much extra tech, and A-Bug was just getting their extra bases up. I don't know what that game, I don't know any part of that game that should have like changed. I don't know where it went wrong. Zoey was able to cannon rush the third and deny it, and that was pretty cool. I think they probably just letting this third base get up was kind of what sealed the deal for them. But yeah, that was a super fun game, and Zoey built the Scout, so really, who's the real winner here? So A-Bug wins all 3 of their games, 3-0, like back to back to back, so quickly, so fast, that they've done all their games in this group, and we're moving on to Ares versus User 2011. No, the Scout also killed 1 Overlord, Dada, okay? So, we got value. We got an Overlord and a Zergling. Alright. Next game is going to be User versus Ares. And another ZVP. And we're just going to hop right into it. I'm just going to switch the stream over, click back into StarCraft, and let's cast this fucking game. In the top right corner, we have user 30222211. I don't know why, but everyone gave, other than that first replay, everyone titled theirs differently, like a different number for user, and I have no idea why. Like, I don't know why this user was 2011, but we have user 302211 playing at 22211, playing as the red Zerg once again, and in the bottom right we have Ryel. Playing as the orange Protoss. On the chart they are called Ares. Ah. All right. Pylon and a scout. Pylon I think is supposed to be like right here, but I think you can still make a wall from this. Overlord scouting out. Probe is gonna see the probe. Probe's gonna see the Overlord. They respect each other, so they ignore it and move on. They won't have their epic duel yet. User 302221 going for the spawning pool 9 pool. And Ryle going for gate expand. So I love the see gate expand. It's such an interesting dynamic opener. And it can go in so many different ways, right? Like, just the ability to get zealots that fast. Shit. And they're building their assimilator extremely quickly as well. So, usually you don't see that. Usually the assimilator waits until you have the forge up as well. But I think maybe this build is why. Oh, and the gas steal in the main. Once again, this is not something you really want to do against Zerg because they can just get the gas in the natural. But depending on what level you're playing at, the Zerg might not know that. So if you're Zerg watching this and has this ever happened to you? Just build the extractor in your natural because your hatchery is going to finish in like 3 seconds anyways. 6 Zerglings coming across the map. Still no Zealot in production for Rye. The Forge, I think, can fit right here. Yeah, and it... So this isn't a build, right? Like, this isn't a thing, right? But I guess the Zerglings are caught on the assimilator, so like Ryle isn't. I'm okay. I'm just. Oh my god. Oh my. Yeah. See, they're just gonna be able to get up into the main. Cause like, why not build the cyber there and have it be the wall? Okay, one probe dies. Ryle is clumping the probes up. Oh, great little micro there. Gets one of the Zerglings. But again, like, we have 4 Zerglings just sitting in the main, and I feel like if he had just sent all of his Zerglings and built his extractor at his natural, this game would be over. And they're getting Dragoons. So, like, this doesn't... What? This is a game of StarCraft, made in 1998 by Blizzard Entertainment. It features 3 races, the enigmatic Protoss, the ravenous Zerg, and the clever Terran. The game has been played competitively for over 20 years and has a rich history. And during that entire history, Protoss getting 1 Zealot and 1 Dragoon has never been a thing. In PvZ. I don't know. I don't know if I'm like, cuz it's weird and I enjoy that it's weird, but at the same time, it's just like, what is this? How are they? What is this? Is this a DT rush? How are they not dead? User, it was a 9 pool. It was a 9 pool. Okay. I'm calm. I'm very calm. I enjoy, listen. I think we're going to get extremely fast DTs. And, you know, user has 3 sunken colonies. They don't have link speed, I don't think. What a weird game. What a weird game. Oh boy, I wonder how this is gonna... What a weird game. Okay, so... Don't need that many sunk... Is that a... Okay, dead and Evo chamber, so that's good. You usually want the sunken colonies like behind them, but it's fine. It's fine. So this is like both of these players are new to the game, so I'm critical of it, but I'm trying. It's more in a just bewilderment that this works. Team reveals is today, and so I think what the takeaway for me from this is that these players, like, it will just come down to, you know what, StarCraft's a fun game. We're just chilling, we're vibing, we're building units, we're building bases, we're macroing, we're microing. So I look forward to, what did we cancel? Why did we cancel it? What's going on? So I look forward to seeing more of these lower level players. And I think I especially am looking forward to the difference between these lower level tier-ish, 3-ish, and below games from the preseason and watching the tier 3-ish games from later in the season, especially from some of these players who haven't been in the CPL before and who are kind of new and still learning, like, why builds are a thing. Because I'd like to see, like, you know, it's fun to see that growth from I'm doing a PvT build. Why is that bad in like, why is doing this bad in PvZ, right? Because you do it in PvT, and so it's kind of a cool thing that I hope maybe when we get later in the season that we can watch these players and that the players can also, like, kind of learn and figure out. It's like, oh, okay, that's why this doesn't work, because if user had just built a bunch of Zerglings and moved them over to my base, I would be dead because I spent 300 minerals getting something that doesn't stop me from being dead. But in the meanwhile, I'm just going to I'm gonna do my fucking weird reactions because it's just so concerning and weird. There were 4 Zerglings just standing at the assimilator when there was a completed hatchery that could have been building this extractor, and I can't get over that. But it's one of those things, again, where, okay, I'm fucking going off here. It's one of the things where, like, if somebody doesn't tell you that you can just build your extractor at your natural, it's not something that's really easy to think of, right? Because you never get this gas before this gas, right? So it's like, kind of, for newer players, it's like a prerequisite. Well, it's like, oh, I have to get the gas in my main before I get my natural gas. Also, there's a Hydra bus here, and that's a lot of zealots. Ooh, I like the pullback micro on the Hydras. That's really sweet, but at the same time, I feel like the Hydras are just a bit too late because Ryle has just been massing speed zealots and, like, +1 speed zealots, right? Yeah, so, like, these Hydras are not in the numbers that they need to be to actually fight the zealots effectively, especially once they have speed. This is a good amount of Hydras, and you know, they just need to shave the zealot numbers off. And then they just can probably keep pushing. There's DTs here, and so again, like, this DT is, you know, basically going to instantly die, right? Oh my god, okay. Yeah, so the Hydras are gonna get all this for free, and they're just gonna keep pushing over into here, and depending on what Ryle builds, right, like, these are the numbers. The DT, oh, that Overlord just barely is gonna save these Hydras. And the Hydras, once they melt through the Zealots, they kill Dragoons extremely quickly. And, like, this should be maybe not game, because, nope, it is game, yeah, okay. Yeah, so it definitely, again, this game just feels like both the players, or Ryle specifically, and this is not like trying to be a jab or be like, this guy is awful, but it just feels like they understand like how to play the game, and what, like macroing they did pretty well, like they got all those zealots, but like the next step is being like, okay, what do you have to do differently in each matchup, and why do you have to do it, right? It's like Protoss, you have to get those forging cannons up because the Zerg can just build a shitload of Zerglings and go and kill you. Like, you can't just skip straight up into your tech. And with Hydras, you have to have Storm. Like, you just have to have Storm. There's no way to fight Hydras that isn't Storm. Watch the probe massacre. I just wanna... Alright. Yeah. Okay. Well, that was an interesting game, and I think it's a good game to point to and be like, hey, here's a couple of things that are like kind of unintuitive to learn that you can't really know unless somebody tells you, and then like this is why those things are bad, or this is why you have to do these things, right? But yeah, User takes that game 1-0 over Ares. Again, these are just preseason games, so looking forward to seeing these players in the actual CPL season. I was about to say ASL, and I would really hope we don't see these players in the ASL because that sounds miserable for all of them. And so our next game is going to be User 29020. Again, everybody just came up with random numbers for User here. It's going to be User 29020 versus Justice. And we're just, again, start right into it. Justice is playing Terran. Wait, hold on. Wasn't Justice playing Zerg earlier? Justice was playing Zerg earlier. And now they're... Wait, why did Justice play ZVZ? Why did Justice play ZVZ and A-Bug played ZVZ, and then A-Bug decided to play PVZ, and now Justice is playing TVZ? What? Why are these players denying me my Zerg versus Zerg? The cruelty of it. I can't believe they got together in a group chat and specifically talked about how they were going to deny me casting ZVZ. Let's switch over to the game and let's get into it, okay? You know what? We have one Zerg. And in the top right corner, we have User 20211. See, why is he called User 20111, then User 20920, then User 1349024? Because I don't know. Everyone just was like, oh, what numbers are User's name? And they just went, okay. Oh yeah, it's User 4154765756526526542. Why? I don't know. But, I mean, this isn't helping his case that he also is just putting random numbers after his name. Is this a 5 pool? It's a 5 pool. He should be asked to use one nickname and stick to it. Yeah, his nickname is User Number Keyboard Smash. So I feel bad that this is going to be Justice's experience. I mean, User, I feel like it's a 5 pool. You get it. You just get this game. I'm pretty sure User just gets this game. I think you make... Yeah, I think this is the last drone you make, right? And then you have 150 and 3 larvae saved up for instantly 3 Zerglings. He's even sending a drone out to scout, which I don't think he needs to, but they can. And the SCV scouting pretty quickly, and it's going to see it is indeed a 5 pool. And I'm not sure. I guess like Justice has to immediately build a bunker like right here, right? And then they live. Like they finish the barracks, they immediately build the bunker, and then they pop 1 Marine into it. If he builds the bunker like, oh no, what is he doing? What's going on? What is Justice? Okay, no, Justice is blocking the ramp. That's also a good thing to do. It's a bit early, but they need to block the ramp. Okay, they need to buy time, and I still think they really need to build a bunker like right here. The SCV, ooh, this is rough. I think he's gonna try to block the Zerglings without having to build a bunker, but again, like this SCV's on the ramp here. Like one Marine gets through. SCVs are gonna fight. SCVs are getting taken down, and the Zerglings are just tearing through. Great attack shots here by User. I think it looks like they are actually going to get up, and this is why I really would have liked to see that bunker. And the Zerglings are just going to pop up the ramp. All the SCVs are falling, and now they get up in here. I mean, they can just surround the Marines as they come out, right? And kill all the Marines, kill all the SCVs. Ooh, that great body blocking here, but the Zerglings are just going to turn and start killing SCVs, and fucking 2 more pairs of Zerglings on the way across the map, as like Justice is just going to lose everything in their main, right? 1 more Marine pops out, and the SCVs fight, and almost, ooh, it looks like they do save them, so we do have 1 Marine. One Marine does live, but again, there's just no... Oh, that Marine could get 1 shot by the drone, though. And, like, I don't know. This could stabilize here, but this Marine being the forward face is not going to work. Yep, the Zerglings actually get on top of both of the Marines, and Justice falls. Yeah, Justice leaves the game. User takes 2 games in, like, very different games. And, like, I feel like the previous game could have been won in the same way. They held it, but unfortunately they just didn't follow up with like fully holding it. And they took one really, that last engage was just pretty awful. They had the weakened Marine up front, and yeah. The SCV blocking was clutch to keep them alive that long, but unfortunately it was not enough. And User's Zerglings were able to finish the game up. And in our last match, we're gonna have User 74003 versus Zoey. And again, I am not the person who typed these names up. This is how they are labeled in the replay. So we're gonna go ahead and start it up. Switch back over to the stream. Back to the game. And we are in our final game of Group 9. That's pretty cool. A lot of really quick games here. In the top right corner, once again, we have User playing as Zerg in the top right corner. I think they've been top right corner in like 3 out of 3 games that we've just casted. And the bottom left, we have Zoey playing the Brown Protoss. The scouting probe is named User 78641. All right, Dada. Here is. Wait, that's probably the pylon probe. Never mind. He might not be the scouting probe. Let's see. A bit early. It's a 7 pylon, but that's okay. So this probe is User 78641. You would think he's the proxy 2-gate probe, but he's just the 7 pylon probe. So Zoey, oh my god, he is doing it again. User, the 5 pool has brought them to victory, and now they're just gonna do it again. But the thing is, Zoey scouting on pylon is actually gonna catch this. Yeah, like Zoey got an insanely early scout, and now they're gonna see that it's a 5 pool, and I guess they have to get Forge first, and then just maybe cut probes so they can build the... Well, they also need to pull probes down here, right? Like, you need at least 2 or 3 probes to body block for the photon cannon to get it up. Because this is actually a really tough spot for Protoss. I think it's possible, and it is a forge. Zoey says 1 of 5 pool. And meanwhile, user also getting their gas. So 6 Zerglings rallied across the map. Zoey throwing down 2 cannons immediately, or about to be immediately. Pulls a little too many probes to block this, and it's going to actually delay the cannon, and that could be huge. Oh, they're actually building the gateway to better body block. Okay, I can get behind that. Drone is going to try to break it up, but I think the probes are just going to kill it. And now Zoey is pummeling towards the front. The cannon is going to finish, but I think they're just going to lose probes. Oh no, the probes let the Zerglings in. The Zerglings got on top of the photon cannon, but I think with only 4 Zerglings getting in, holy shit! That's crazy. Okay, 2 Zerglings coming up. 2 Zerglings can finish this, right? No! User isn't pushing the attack. No, the 2 Zerglings absolutely could kill this, though. They're waiting for more Zerglings, but by the time more Zerglings get here, there might already be a Zealot. Oh no. Okay. Okay. I think the 2 Zerglings could have actually killed it. He was waiting for Overlord to tank some shots. That's fair. I guess you could time it right. But with the second photon cannon on the way, there's only a trickle of Zerglings coming in, like, and now the probes are also blocking. I feel like maybe if he was going to like wait that long, he should have just waited for all of these Zerglings to rally. This is still not safe for Zoey. There's no Zealot on the way, and I think with 6 Zerglings, this could be breakable. With 6 Zerglings and 4 more rallying. The thing is, user is, I mean, they almost have enough minerals for another hatchery, and I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to build that natural hatch, and then they really should just try and break this one more time. It's so close to dying. Yeah, and so once these 4 Zerglings get here, they're going to try to pounce on it, but I think the Zealot is going to finish right as they're coming up, and that is going to stagger the Zerglings. See, yeah, see, it is. The Zealot's going to come up. He's going to be able to body block. I think the Zerglings might be able to file in past the Forge here, but, oh my god, Zoey's getting an assimilator behind this. And the thing is, user isn't pushing the issue. They're deciding that they don't want to be aggressive, and they're getting their second hatchery in their main. Lings can go in from the egg side. Probably. Gateways are weird like that. Egg side isn't tight. Okay, that seems like a confirmation, right? And so Zergling's like, oh man, dude, oh my god. I want user to get coached so much. Even throwing down a 3rd photon cannon. I want user to get coached so much. And I mean, there was money to expand, and a hatch was built, but it was built in the main, and it's kind of like, what, why, you know, like, what, you don't need to do this. And the Zerglings actually dive through, but they dive through in the middle here, and only 3 actually get into the Protoss' main, and honestly, the probes can fight these Zerglings. Zoey has, like, okay micro. I don't think the Zerglings are going to get the damage that they need to do to actually even this game out. And Zoey's going to just get into a position where they'll just A-move the Zealots across the map. Nexus going up. There are still 3 Zerglings in the main, but the Zealot here should keep them off of it. We'll probably see +1 attacks start fairly soon since we have 100 minerals. See, now this photon cannon has 100 HP. So Zealot comes up, and we're going to micro some Zerglings away. More Zerglings coming. But that's right, like, you can't keep the pressure up, right? You just can't. Photon Cannon's going to miss 2 shots. And Zoey, once this cannon gets up in the main, they're fully 100% safe. I mean, Zerg has Zergling speed, but there's a huge probe transfer down at a little early, though. A little early. Usually you want to transfer the probes at 650, 650. Oh, I guess it was close to 650. But if you transfer the probes at 650, they'll start mining, and then they will they'll return to this one. Yeah, and with +1 on the way, Stargate started, so Corsairs will be out pretty much any moment. I think user, like, we've lost this. Like, they've lost this game, right? Like, there's no way that they can even come back, right? Because they can't get into a build where they can defend from the Corsair. Yeah, like, I feel like if you 5-pool... Now, maybe someone in the chat can correct me here, but I feel like if you 5-pool, you kind of are just accepting that you're going all in, and you can't transition out of that. Especially if you double down on, like, trying to build nothing but Zerglings past, like, the first attack. Like, you just have to keep attacking and hope that it, like, eventually works. 5-pool you can still transition out of. You actually make enough money to eventually make a hatch and draw back up. Okay. Yeah, but now Zealots are moving out. +1's almost on the way. Citadel of Dune is almost on the way. And Zoey's not getting a Corsair, which would be the thing that just they could scout and they could be like, oh, I've won the game. That is a lot of Zerglings, though. Zealot's doing the shuffle. And they're getting observers. You know, for that 5-drone lurker build. I am... Zoey, this is boring, not gonna lie. Zoey. What the fuck, Zoey? Build a single Corsair and you've won the game. What? Zoey, what the fuck? Zoey. You know what? I take back. Usually I'm like, you know, everything's in good jokes. I don't mean it. This time I mean it. Zoey, you can't be like, man, this is boring. When, like, you're like, let me tech into observers off of an opponent's 5-pool instead of just building a single Corsair, scouting and being like, oh, I've won the game. He is building, you know what? No, he's building a scout. He's made up for it. I don't, fine. The scout can kill all these Zerglings for free. What the fuck is it? Okay. And Zoey's scouting for the hidden bases that, of course, his opponent has, because he can't just, you know, win the game. Because, like, he can't get killed at all. Like, no amount of Zerglings will ever break this, right? Like, there's Zoey. There's no other bases. Just kill the overlord. Like, there's 5 drones. Good buddy, good pal. Like, even if your opponent had a hidden base that was trying to mind trick you, they wouldn't have 5 drones in their main. And the scout, of course, like, I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Like, Zoey, you could just... Okay, and user leaves the game as the Zealots approach their base, and that is GG's. I don't know, man. You can't be like... You Can't be like, hey, this game's boring, when you can do the one thing that'll stop, like, that'll let you be like, oh, the game's over. Like, the game can't be boring if it's, oh, I don't even know. Oh, shit, dude. Listen, I've seen 2 scouts be built, and that's good enough for me. I'll be content with that. Zoey takes that game 1-0, not 10. No, that's the wrong 1-0 for Zoey. So we end up, and a bug is in first place, of course, with 3-0 wins, but User actually is our second place winner of Group 9 with 2 wins over their opponents, and Zoey is in third with their 1-0 over User. So that is all of our games for Group 9. That was done extremely quickly. So before we hop into Group 36, we're going to take a really short break. And by short, I mean we're going to take the standard 5-minute break that I have set up for this stream so that I can refill my coffee, eat some breakfast, and then like refuel to get ready for Group 36. Because I know that there is a number of Zerg players, and so hopefully they aren't dodging ZVZ like half of the players in Group 9 were doing. But we love it. Thank you for the games. Let's switch over to that break. Stay tuned, and we'll be back with 7 more StarCraft games. Let me set this up so that hopefully this video plays. Let me see, where is the OBS? There it is. All right, we'll be right back. we're back. Wait, hold on. I still need to refill my coffee. Where's? It's non-stop ride on the struggle bus. Over here. All right. We are now back, and we have Group 36 games, plus a bonus game from a previous group that did not get casted, but it was played, so we will represent it. Our first game of Group 36, done in alphabetical order, is going to be Hangs versus Melody in a Zerg v Zerg, which is the best matchup, and two very good players. And I'm not saying that just because Hangs is in the chat. That whenever Scimo starts talking to me again, NCX, I'm on. NCX, it's not the stream. I'm just actually in your house right now. Please, I've been here for weeks. Can I have some food? Oh shit. But no, I'm not saying both of these players are good just because Hangs is in the chat. I'm saying they're both good. I'm saying they're both good because they're both very good. Melody was like a StarCraft 2 player. They stream sometimes, and she I think was like a Grandmaster Zerg in StarCraft 2, or like High Masters at the very least. I've caught a couple of her streams, and that's transferred sort of over into this game as well. She was tier 2 the first season she was in, same as Hangs, and now they're both in tier 1 and doing great. So let us switch the stream over. Hangs in the chat lying, saying that they're terrible at this game. Don't believe them. Don't believe their lies as we hop into this 1v1 ZVZ. In the top right corner, we have Ask Me About CPL as the green Zerg. It is actually Hangs. But honestly, if Hangs, do you ladder with this account? Because if you do, like 100%, like that's the good shit, okay? And then in the bottom right, we have Melody representing her team from last season, Attitude Plus. Nobody's asked? What if you change your name to Ask Me About CPL for a free, like, is there enough to be like, ask about CPL, I'll leave, and just be like, do you want a free win? Ask me about CPL. And it could just be an account specifically meant to recruit people for CPL by just leaving games. But both players playing Zerg, both Overlords sent across the map. Extractor first here for Melody. We don't have a trick quite yet, so I think we are just going for an Extractor first, which is this a thing? I think maybe one or two people, but they already knew. Dang. So Melody's gonna have like a really, this is kind of interesting, right? Because this will be a really fast Zergling speed, right? So I'm guessing we're just gonna see like a one-base Zergling speed build here. And then meanwhile on the other side of the map, Hangs is going for Hatch first. I mean, neither player has sent a drone to scout. So neither player, like both players are going to be completely in the mix. So Overgas is a build then. Means lair and speed at the same time. That's very cool. I need to write that down in my ZVZ build lists. Overgas. All right. I have 18 sticky notes just kind of arrayed on my desk, like 1 row for each build order, so that I can have like just 6 builds to reference at any time. All right, so lair and speed do start at the same time. Thank you. Thanks to our analysts in the chat letting us know what's up. And I mean, this seems like a really solid opener, right? Like we already have Zerglings coming out. We already have speed coming out. And yeah, like the spawning pool is about to finish. The hatchery's about to finish. Hangs has a slight drone lead, but I mean, if Melody just like gets aggressive out on the map, they can put pressure onto Hangs, and then Hangs is just kind of like gonna be behind on mutas. And 153, no speed. All right. Hangs is finally going to be floating over into the main here, and I think it's probably hard to tell if someone has gone over gas. I would guess, because this could have been over pool or something. I mean, I guess once you see the speed, you kind of know that like what you're facing, especially once Hangs actually gets vision of the lair. And they'll be able to also scout the Spire. Now, Hangs' own speed is a possible variation. Okay, Hangs' own lair is started, isn't quite finished up. And we can see just how, like, Melody has, you know, Zerglings with speed, and that adds so much extra power to an attack. And it comes down to, like, you can get a better position, but also when the Zerglings hit each other, they'll reorganize themselves faster. Because Slowlings might get caught up behind each other and take a while to, like, actually loop around. But Speedlings will just be like, oh shit, there's a Zergling over there. Bajoop. They make that sound effect as well. It's just we're not capable of zooming in far enough to hear the bajoop sound effect. So now Melody's just retreating to the high ground, which, I mean, with all these Zerglings from Hangs, I think is absolutely the right call. And Hangs is transitioning over into Evolution Chamber. Okay, this could get really dicey. Melody is almost microing the Zerglings, but I think, oh no, yep, Hangs is gonna get up into the main here. They're gonna, no, wait, hold on, okay. That is a lot of, okay, no, those Zerglings are all maxed. The drones are gonna turn to fight, and we just have Zerglings popping out. Unfortunately, there isn't like any Mutalisks here, which would be what Melody would have to angle this. And I think this is just, okay, these Zerglings are gonna spawn, kill the rest here, but Hangs has constant reinforcements. Melody finally has 1 Mutalisk in production, and they really just have to stay alive until then, right? Like, they just have to keep their drones alive, keep their Zerglings, like, from killing them, and then once those Mutalisks start actually spawning, they'll be able to slowly win this game. No Sunken Colony. I think maybe a Sunken Colony would have been a good call here as well, like, throw one up right here. But the Muta is finally spawned, and but we're out of Zerglings to buffer for the drones, and the drones are all going to fall extremely quickly. Back home, Hangs is just going to have more Zerglings come in, and it looks like Hangs is going to take this out. Yeah, I think there's a bit of an over micro on the ramp, and I think also when you see just that many Zerglings, throwing a drone down to get a Sunken Colony is absolutely worth it. 2 more Mutalisks on the way, but again, Hangs has their own Mutas coming up. They have Spore Colonies coming up, and the Zerglings are just going to tear through the space too fast, and Hangs is going to take our first game of Group 36 in a volatile Zerg versus Zerg. Alright. That was exciting. Oh, that's the wrong. Yeah, I think it definitely okay. So let's go back. Where's OBS? Let's open that up. And we will go ahead and edit. Put in that record. Hangs was hacking our stream to make sure that they couldn't be marked as 1-0 over Melody. And then our next match is going to be Hangs versus SesioM. I don't know. I'm curious what their name is and why. So it kind of reminds me of like Casio, like the keyboard company. Yeah, well, I'm still loading the replay, my man. Everything crashed. We're getting there, okay? Moises. No, you're fine, you're fine. Alright, Hangs versus SesioM. We have the replay loaded up. Let's hop right back into it. Let's no break after a stream crash, no hesitation. We're right back into this game called StarCraft. I'm just plugging wire into it. Yeah, like to restart the computer, I just have like a bundles of wires. I don't actually have a computer case. I just like kick at the wire pile, and hope that it does what I want it to. In the top right corner, we have Hang with the yellow Zerg. In the bottom right, their opponent, SesioM, the hot pink Terran. Yeah. Why did my computer just kick me out of Brood War? Alright, so it looks like we have an Overlord, and we're saving up for a Overpool. So we're gonna have some Zerglings, probably. SesioM getting their SesioM something. They're getting their low ground wall set up with their supply depot and their barracks. It's a good way to, you know, you don't have to build it down here, but you can, and that's okay. You know, it's good. It really does help against these really aggressive Zerg builds, because you can kind of get a nice wall in, get your bunker pretty safely up behind it. SCV being sent out to scout, drone being sent out to scout, natural coming up for our Zerg player, and a yeah. As soon as that spawning pool finishes, we have 1 pair of Zerglings being made, 2 pairs of Zerglings being made. We're going for the 3 pair. Yes, we are. Maybe. No. So we do have 3 pairs of Zerglings, and a drone does get some harassment on the SCV building the barracks, but ultimately it will be chased out by the Terran. Expansion coming up. And Hangs, meanwhile, is dealing with the SCV in their main. The SCV has been neglected and is torn apart by the Zergling, but he might make it out of here alive. Meanwhile, we have 4 more Zerglings running across the map, and the wall is being finished by Sesio with the supply depot. I think the Zerglings can come around this side, right? Well, nope, I guess they can just come between the... Oh, that's fun. Although the Marine was within range to get hit, having the SCV block the thing and have the other SCV repair it, that's cute. I like that. That's a fun little interaction thing, and the SCV is going to try to sneak out, get another scout on the Zerg base, Hang going up to 3 hatch, and yeah, still not mining any gas, though. So I think we just might be going into really hard Zerglings. The SCV is going to get seen, but I think he's going to be able to make it all the way to the bases without being actually, like, taken out. Nat getting saturated here by Sesio, who, yeah, playing super standard. Academy barracks, an extra hatch, 4 hatches for Hangs. Basic Zerg stuff. You know, the things that Zergs do.
Lair at the natural. You sometimes see this. I think it's really neat because it gives the natural some extra durability. Like, well, when it mutates, I think Lairs have like 1750 like HP, I think. So it's an extra 500 HP at your natural base. I don't know. It does make your tech a bit more vulnerable, but at the same time, it makes your tech more vulnerable, but it makes your base a bit more like durable. So it's interesting. So Lair's on the way, Hydra Den coming up as well. So this should maybe morph into some kind of lurker play here. SesioM getting a pretty solid bio count. That's what they're called. Yeah, so they're getting a pretty solid bio ball getting set up. Lots of Marines, medics, you know, a couple medics, and adding on those extra barracks to have that really solid production late game. Hang saturating their third base, getting creep colonies at their natural, as you want to do versus Terran. Once you can kind of see what's going on here. Scans going down into the main, spots the Hydra Den, so that's a really solid scan there, so they know that lurkers are basically on the way. The barracks lifts up and heads over to the natural. One was canceled, I think, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if I agree with that, but Marine range and +1 on the way as SesioM is moving out to try and get some damage done. Hangs doesn't really have any units here to like buffer this force, since they didn't go Spire for Mutalisks, so they can't really also threaten the back end here. And so Hanks kind of is forced to go for those 3 Sunkens. And 4 Zerglings do get into the base and are going to tear through and cause at least some havoc, right? They aren't going to get much damage done. They get 2 Marines, but, you know, SCVs, that many SCVs can just fight, straight up fight 3 Zerglings. So SesioM has forced Hangs to get 3 Sunken colonies, and that's kind of like what you're expecting, right? And so you come out here, you force the Sunkens, and then you retreat, right? And with the 2 Sunkens at the third, you force those. So it is all kind of like basic what the Terran is expecting. Now they might be staying out on the map because, again, Hangs doesn't have Mutalisks, so Hangs can't actually threaten to kill everything back at home for SesioM. So this army can kind of stay out here a bit longer than it needs to. Again, just tossing down scans, seeing what the status of everything is at the third base. Couple of Zerglings try to slip by, but a stim and a pull takes out most of them as more Marines rally across the map to reinforce. The lurkers are finally coming from Hangs, and that's going to really solidify the second base. As SesioM, we can see that starport in the production tab, and so they are going to be getting up into their science vessel tech and getting ready for their mid-game, like the mid-game status and the mid-game plays. Hangs getting some of the Hydralisk upgrades just to give them that extra maneuverability. And then we have double Evo Chamber, starting +1 attack, +1 armor at the exact same time. And then a little bit of a drone up behind this. SesioM going for tanks and siege mode. That'll help them assault this main base from the safety of all the way across the map. And, yeah. Standard stuff. We're not gonna see much more. Hydra Lurk. Yeah. Hydra Lurk. Still no mutas. So I think Hangs is just fully committed. They're fully anti-committed to Mutalisks. They are so against getting mutas that they are not getting mutas. Now this lurker is going to kind of poke forward, and this is going to be Hangs' like start of trying to like break out a little bit. What the hell? And so Hangs is really just, the thing is though, right? They have a moment before the science vessels get up here. Oh, what? Oh, that's sick. So now they're going to be catching all these reinforcing Marines. Oh my god, the jukes by SesioM. As soon as that split goes out, as soon as he hears that, they go, okay, let me redirect these forces. Although another Marine and a Firebat do get picked off, that means that there aren't any lurkers at the natural here. And the tank is only briefly delayed as it is coming up. But Hydras are going to try and jump right on top of it. but the tank is just going to keep on moving on. And a siege up, but the Hydras dive on top of it, and that is actually huge, because that means that Sesio is delayed until the next tank gets here before they can push these Sunkens. So great play there by Hangs, diving the Hydras out to snipe the tank and then retreating back. Now Hydras are actually going to sneak out, and it looks like they're going for the surround across the Marines. And I think they're going to do pretty well. Now again, Marines just shred Hydras. And I think the Lurkers were maybe a bit too far back to actually fight the Bio Ball efficiently. But now all of Sesio's, like the Hydras from the third come down, and the tank gets sniped again. And I mean, like, this fight just doesn't work, right? I mean, with 2 medics just kind of chilling, right? It is so funny to me how often, like, there will be these ZVT fights or whatever, and then all that's left are just 2 medics sitting there healing each other that don't, oh, Jesus, this is great. And then they are alerted to them and they run out. Ooh, no, the Hydras will catch the medics, and unfortunately, they will get picked off. As Sesio is just going to try and hold this middle and prevent Hangs from pushing across. But Hangs is going to get that 4th base, and by 4th base, I mean that 4th gas, and that's what Zerg needs to basically become the best race in the game. Sesio going up to 3 bases, but again, really, the more important thing is that Zerg has 4 gases. We're going to be able to see Ultralisks, Defilers, basically any tech that Hangs wants to work with. They will be able to work with it as they have that Queen's Nest out already as well. Alright, massive Hydra Lurker force just evading the setup that Sesio had in the middle. Oh. Yeah, both players are upgrading pretty well. Oh geez. I think this setup of bunkers should be kind of safe from this task force. And Sesio pushing across, I mean, this 4th base is easily killed. And also, as these units kind of retreat, if Sesio can kind of star sense it, they might be able to catch all of these units separate. The tanks siege up, but the Lurkers are going to get on top of them. I don't think Radiate has been researched yet. They just have detection, but the Lurkers are going to get picked off, and now the tanks are going to be able to take out the rest of this army. Again, the Lurkers are shredding through the bio, but the Marines can shred the Hydras. It really just needs this tank to finish off the last Lurker, and now this, I mean, yeah, Sesio completely contains this. There's a huge, like, Lurker ball, or Hydra ball, out in the middle of the map that could have maybe helped turn the tide of that fight, but, yeah, I mean, look at all these Marines rallying across the map. You're going to have, yeah, so Hangs is going to try for, like, a double-pronged attack, it looks like. But, and that should be enough to wipe this out. This isn't a very threatening bio ball, of course. But, I mean, Hangs does lose a good number of Hydras during this fight, and Sesio has like a large Marine force that is reinforcing up here. I don't think they don't have any support, so I'm not sure what else they're doing. I think only one Science Vessel was able to escape, and now a Radiate has started, so a bit unfortunate here for our Terran player. Also, I think Hive, yeah, we are on Hive Tech. So Hangs is going to be able to get into basically every single thing they want. They're also even taking a 5th because Sesio had a moment. They could have killed this 4th, but they didn't. So if you're Hangs, you're thinking, okay, my opponent isn't going for my 4th. I've successfully defended my main thing, and so my opponent's attention isn't on this side of the map. And so let's just try and let's sneak this 5th base. Let's see if we can get there, right? Because Hangs has a Marine down here in these bottom 2 bases. but he's not paying attention to the top left. And so Hangs is going to kind of get away with this. And that is a lot of Zerg. They're going to just walk up here, surround the Terran, Lurkers burrow, pick off more Marines, and they're just going to keep flooding over. The Hydras are now on 2. Hydras and Lurkers are both now on 2-2. Marines are only on 1-2. On a Radiate goes down on a burrowed Lurker, but again, Hangs is in a very nice position here. Even supplies, and that means that Zerg is ahead. Yeah, back at home, Sesio is getting a physics lab, so we're going to get up into battle cruisers. And on 3 mining gas, you can probably go like 2 port BCs, and that's a really solid like play, I think. The problem is that Hangs is getting defilers, and once defilers come out and once defilers have consume and plague and all their abilities, BCs just get shit on. Like, you plague a BC and then Hydras will just all one-shot it. M153 from the analyst desk in the chat says that the 2-2 timing on the Zerg is an important window to bully Marines for this style. And that is an interesting insight. So that would explain the double Evo chamber, crazy Zerg stuff. It's like, okay, that 2-2 timing is an important part. It looks like Sesio has actually scanned up into the top leftish areas and knows what Hangs is about, but unfortunately has not scanned the top left. Oh no, Sesio is kind of reading so much wrong. They're pushing into this well-defended 4th, and meanwhile this like weakened 5th is like open to get taken out. And this is not enough. Like, there's as many Hydras as Marines here. There's Lurkers like everywhere. And like Sesio can kind of push forward, inching the tanks up. They have 3 vessels, so they can maybe I don't know, throw a Radiate down on some Hydras and get a bunch of splash damage going. But okay, ooh, nice D-Matrix on the Marines there. But again, wow, like just the overwhelming power of these 2-2 Hydralisks is going to defend this base. And now Hangs stays getting away with it. This base is still up. This base could have been killed in the last push, but Sesio ignored it, or didn't know about it, and this base could have been killed for this push, and Sesio like also didn't know about it. So Hangs is like just getting away with these kind of like undefended, almost super greedy like 4th and 5th bases. They've even sent units down to clear out the bottom right areas so that the expansions can start being put down there. Cold Warp gets in the chat. What's up, man? Okay, Sesio getting up to their 4th base, and this is another big moment. Like, again, Terran wants to stay only 1 base behind the Zerg. And as the Zerg is going to start saturating this 5th, this position is going to become very important, because this is going to become the staging ground for Sesio pushing and denying the Zerg off of this base. Because when you think about it, Zerg is on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gases. And, like, you know, there's always the talk of, oh yeah, 4 gas Zerg is insane. Hangs has more than that, and they're getting ready to take a 6th base and go up to 7 gases. Oh, and Sesio is moving out right as Hangs is moving in to take this base. So again, like, this really just feels like a game of, like, incorrect star sense. Like, Sesio is making these calls and making these moves at, like, all the wrong times, and it is just biting them, and Hangs is taking advantage of it. And yeah, I mean, once Darkstorm comes down, you just can't defend this base, right? And Hangs is going to deny it. They're going to kill the CC with the Hydras. And I mean, the tank count for Sesio has been reset. And Hangs, once again, kind of is just able to keep this 5th base, as they also have enough Zerg down here to kind of deny Sesio from taking this. Now, this huge force is just going to go for the counterattack straight up the middle, right down deep, but Hangs already has a Defiler rallied out here, and with the Darkstorm coming down, I mean, honestly, the play might just be to run the Marines under the Darkstorm so that the Hydras can't hit them. but as is, it just is not going to be working out. I mean, we have Lurkers, we have Hydras. The Marine count is thinning, and the Defilers are... Ooh, Defiler gets picked off before it can throw that Dark Swarm over the tank. But oh, this is going to be really close, but I think the splash fire from the tank is going to be enough for the Marines to clear up this fight. But again, there's just so much more Zerg literally everywhere else, right? Sesio lost their entire army during that push, and they have like a battle cruiser and some dropships to back this up. Meanwhile, Hangs has like all this extra Zerg here. The target fire on the Defiler is huge here. Is going to mean that Hangs is going to have to reinforce later. If Sesio's been doing one thing right, it's been really target firing those Defilers at the start of this, these fights. And you can see why that battle cruiser switch doesn't really work against like turbo late game Zerg who you haven't been bullying the entire game, because Hydras do just kill battle cruisers. Like you need the battle cruisers for specific scenarios. And Hydra Lurker Defiler is not that scenario. If they're going like Ultra Lurker, maybe. But yeah, Lurkers are going to come run up the ramp. I don't think this is going to work as well as Hangs wants it to, but I think, I don't know, it does look like it is just still going to work. The SCV's pulled to repair the bunker, but that Defiler got a good amount of pickoffs, but this base does live, and the worker count is still pretty even. Marines just rallied through some lurker fire, just casually juking and dodging. Again, Hangs just stays patrolling this area, and Sesio is like, okay, he doesn't have, like, I don't know, Sesio just hasn't scanned this top base. It's like not even on their radar, and that is concerning for the Terran, right? Hangs actually has a 20 supply lead, which is extremely bad. Finally, the scan goes down on the top left base, and when you scan this, you see it's fully saturated. You see both gases mining. Sesio knows that like they have to know that they're insanely behind at this point. 2 dropships loaded up, heading in, yeah. There is nothing here to defend. I think these are 3 Hydra eggs about to morph. So it looks like, I mean, 2 full dropships of Marines and a medic will shred through these drones, right? So this should do a lot of damage. It looks like Hangs is putting some more pressure on the third base again, but again, like, Hangs can throw these units away. They just need to get whatever damage they can done. That bunker does finally fall. The Marines all die at once, and the Hydras dive onto the SCVs. Meanwhile, back at this top left base, I mean, the Marines are doing their best. They are melting through those drones, and the BCs are going to try and help take out these Hydras. But again, like, what is going on there? Somebody do not hand that Captain vodka before their next mission, because this is what happens. Yeah, it looks like all the drones here died, but most of the SCVs here died as well. So the worker counts are still fairly even, but this base also gets killed. So, I mean, Sesio kind of has clawed sort of back into this. Hydras pop from the exit and immediately start one-shotting Marines. So these Marines are all going to get one-shot, and Hangs will just immediately re-expand here. But, yeah, the Hydras are getting on top of them. Yeah, God, Defilers are such a busted unit, man. Plague is so good. So yeah, Sesio reestablishing their 4th, and now if Sesio actually manages to hold this base, I mean, they have 2 fully health BCs, 2 more in production. Hanks kind of has been a little too inefficient, right? Like, we're about to be in a position. Oh no, Hanks is getting ready to like try and take this base, but the Marines are doing a deep dive behind enemy lines. And they're caught up on the Overlord. No, they need to snipe this drone before it can build the hatchery, and before these units here take notice of it. But they're caught up on the Zerglings, and yep, no, they are going to get cleared, and Hangs is going to be able to get this base up. Dark Swarm comes down, Hydra's landing up, BCs are going to have to retreat. And again, there is a Zergling here. I'm not sure where, but it is definitely here, and it is doing damage to something. The Hydras are going to be taking out the battle cruisers. Looks like a Defiler was killed by an Irradiate somewhere, and the Lurkers are going to burrow right next to the command center. as Sesio's units kind of get fall, and they're just at the wait. They just have to time these Dark Swarms out. Maybe need to have these SCVs start repairing the command center. And yeah, so there's the repair, and now while the Dark Swarm is down, oh, but the science vessel's taken out, so the scan comes down, but another Defiler gets here just in time, and Dark Swarm is laid out on both of these places. Sesio's about to lose all these SCVs, and they GG. The rage of the Defiler Swarm causes, like, just, they head out of the game, and that is it. Hangs takes their second game in Group 36. Alright, let's cut back to this. Do GGs not show up in replays? Sometimes, depending on if it's if it is top versus bottom, if you don't send it in allied chat, I think they don't show up in replays. But I didn't see it in the cast, not in TVB. Yeah, in top versus bottom, you don't see the GGs. If you do it in ally chat. So yeah, you do need the yeah, if it's top versus bottom, the default is that you're sending in an ally chat, so you just have to do shift enter. Yeah. Thank you chat analysts for helping this up. Our next game is gonna be Hangs versus SOStoss. In a ZVP, so Hangs really just has their tour de force of matchups here. They've done ZVZ, they've done ZVT, and now they're heading into a ZVP, and we're gonna see if they can do the all kill on all of the possible matchups that they play. We're gonna open up this replay, start it up, switch the stream over. It did not actually start. Okay, it did start. And let us hop into it as I take a sip of my coffee. I mean, you cannot, you know, yeah, make sure to open it in all chats so you can GG your opponent, or just, you know, let everyone know how bored you are during your game. Bottom left corner, we have Hang as the gray Zerg, and the top right corner, we have SOStoss as the green Protoss. Hang saying that he has 17 MMR, so they're both around 17 MMR, which is that is kind of unbelievable, because you'd have to lose a lot of games. Like, everyone's MMR starts at 1500. I feel like you'd have to lose a lot of games to get down to 17. So you've heard it here first. Hangs and SOStoss both smurf on ladder. Yeah. So it looks like an overpull here from Hangs, while SOStoss going for that gateway expand style. Scimo, is your stream from Saturday 15 days ago permanently lost now? It shouldn't be. The highlights for it should be saved on the channel. I don't remember exactly what groups were uploaded there, but it should be both saved on my Twitch channel and, like Light Swarm is saying, where it should be on the CPL YouTube, because Dada has been the real MVP and staying on people about getting these games uploaded. So, like, yeah. Also, another thing you can do to make sure people can see is on your Switch still. I had the hit view all. Okay. Also, another thing you can do to help make those old games accessible is when you're watching a stream like the one right now, be sure to clip any hype moments or fun times that are had on anybody's stream. Mine, Cold Warp Gates, A-Bugs, or the main channel. Who else streams CPL? A-Bug, Cold Warp Gates. Nightcat does it sometimes. Yeah, listen. If anybody's streaming, ooh, wow, first Zealot and Pro Ball already over here. Champion says he only makes clips from his brother's game. Yeah, listen, it's okay. Just, wow, this was not good. Hangs is bad at the game, by the way. Just, you know, he wants to make sure that we can let you know that he's bad at the game, though. He's bad at the game, though, right? But yeah, I mean, clips. Oh, Jesus Christ, Hangs is bad at the game. He just lost an Overlord to a static building. So yeah, be sure to make Twitch like clips. It's an easy way for people to make content, to review past games, to pull those hype moments from it, to make those hype videos for the official CPL channel. And also, it helps the streamers out because they have clips, and it's like, hey, here's the channel stuff. A lot of there's just a lot of like statistics I think that goes into this. Lightsworn is asking what build is this? I have no idea. Oh, 3 hatch, ling speed, something. I don't know. That's SOStoss going for the basic gateway expand, getting photon cannons up. Hangs is not mining any gas, going pure Ling Flood, I'm guessing. And pure Ling Flood is not going to work as SOStoss already has photon cannons up. They have zealots coming across the map. They're getting their tech up. And yeah, so these really good Star Sense here going straight for the third to put pressure on it. This is the CPL. And the Zealots are just going to try. Ooh, they're going to try to get behind the mineral lines, but oh God, Hangs, again, bad at the game, by the way, catches the Zealots before they can wedge themselves in anywhere and wraps around them and takes them out, losing minimal Zerglings. Behind this, they are macroing up, getting a huge drone explosion, and yeah. This seems like just a really good, He's even doing it in the chat right now. Hangs being like, oh, I'm bad though. I've only successfully deflected like 3 different Zealot attacks, losing minimal Zerglings. Bad at the game though, guys. So we're going up to 5 hatches. Hydroden going down as well. Guys, I've only gone 8-0 against Flash. I'm not that good at the game, okay? I don't know what I'm doing. Alright, Evo Chamber going up in the 3rd base, so we'll probably see maybe a sunken put right there just for macro staying safe and whatnot. Meanwhile, SOStoss getting 4 gates, Citadel of Adun, no Stargate anywhere. So Hangs doing. I mean, Hangs is good for SOStoss because they don't want to have to make Corsairs, right? Like, the faster they can just get High Templar for the Hydra bust, the better. And so this is really good game sense by SOStoss being like, what does my opponent have? They have the 3 hatches here. I kind of know where their buildings are at, so it's probably going to be more of a Hydra bust instead of a Mutaplay. So yeah, and that's what, I mean, that is what it's going to be. So SOStoss has correctly read this situation. They're getting speed zealots, they're getting +1. We'll probably see the Templar archives thrown down here as well. Unless SOStoss is just going for crazy man, zealot man, and going for a +1 speed zealot timing attack. And so this is actually a very cool like timing out, right? Because one of the things you can do when you do like speed zealot gateway +1 timing man is if you can try to put pressure on the third. If that doesn't work, you if you can get the zealots, you can snipe the hatch at this point in the game with this many zealots at +1. Like, you can snipe the hatch, and that is like your thing. The sunken is finally going up in the natural, and the hydras are kind of like also buffering behind here, but SOStoss is just probing around looking for that area that he can hit in, and it looks like it's going to be the third. No sunken colony set up. The drones are having to pull the body block the zealots, but the hydras are going to be coming up and you know, also killing them. But the zealots, I mean, +1 zealots with speed will tear through hydras, but they're getting really caught up on the drones as this sunken colony is just putting out a lot of damage. Hangs, bad at the game, by the way, with the sickest like drone drilling micro. And so yeah, this attack, I don't know how many drones lost. I see 1 Hydra corpse, and that's it. So again, Hangs. Yeah. Behind this, though, SOStoss, through that pressure, has kind of taken the pressure off of them, and now they're getting into their Psystorm, Robotech, Dragoon range. Where is Scouting Overlord? We gotta talk about it. M15 in the chat. The Scouting Overlord. Oh my god, photon cannons don't have kill numbers? Yeah, photon, yeah. The Scouting Overlord sacrificed itself bravely to deplete the photon energy of this cannon that it uses to fire its shots. Yeah, Zealot comes out. Zerglings checking for the third base. And again, I love the Zerglings kind of out on the map just looking for bases. Just being like, is an expansion happening? Because this is 4 Zerglings, and for 4 Zerglings, Hanks has perfect information about what his opponent is doing in terms of trying to be sneaky. And and like 4 Zerglings is free. 4 Zerglings is very free. So yeah. Unfortunately, there's a lot of Hydras here, and they can kind of... Well, the Zealots aren't going to go, but big storms go down every single Hydra, now in the red. Zealots are ready for the cleanup, but the backstabbing Hydras should be able to snipe all of these High Templar. Storm goes down, catches a lot of the Hydras, and they kind of jam up, and they only get 2 High Templar. And that was a very awful trade for our Zerg player. But again, like, I don't know, if these Hydras hadn't retreated all the way to the base, if they'd been like right here, they would have also been able to catch the last 3. But I mean, we still have Hydras coming out. We have Lurker Aspect on the way. Hangs has 3 bases up, a ton of hatcheries. And SOStoss is just going to keep trying to push across the map now with his army. And muscle his way through. He's not even going for an expansion. I think that Zergling here is going to see that as he's moving over. And yeah, Hangs just needs to kind of live. I don't know. He should be able to outscale the Protoss, but he's attacking up a ramp into SOStoss's posted army. The Observer's out, so that is extremely important for catching the Lurkers. A couple Zealots get shaved off and trade 1-to-1 for Hydras, which is fine. The Overlord diving deep to get a scout on. The Hydras pick off a Dragoon as well. Just getting these little bits of efficiency. And then there's this. Bit of a miss micro there. Sacrifices a bunch of Hydras that just deal some damage to a Dragoon. And yeah, this is not enough. This Hydra army is going to have to retreat and try and team up with these lurkers here, right? The lurkers are about halfway done, so the Hydras just have to buffer them to make sure that the High Templar don't double storm on these eggs. But that is a very clumped pack of lurker eggs. Hydras, storms are tossed out on the Hydras as, yeah, the lurkers finally come out. The observer is in position though, and I mean, yeah, more storms are just coming down. The lurkers aren't burrowing. They do finally burrow, but a storm comes down, takes out enough of them. The Dragoons will be able to one-shot them, and I think we are seeing Hangs kind of fall apart here as SOStoss is now posted outside the main base. At the very least, they're going to snipe this Hydra Den and completely hiccup the production of Hangs. The drones are pulled to try and fight, but these are +1 Zealots, and now the Archons are joining in as well, taking out some of these Overlords trying to patrol around and gather vision. Archons are beefy, they do a lot of damage, and they can tank enough shots for the Dragoons to be able to put out enough damage on these Hydras. Hangs GG's as the Hydra Den is about to fall, and Hangs, unfortunately, after a very, very like well-executed opening game, there's just kind of Storm good unit. That is the summary of this game, is that Storm is a very good unit. SOStoss with extremely clutch Storms is going to ruin Hangs' dreams at a 3-0 lead victory in Group 36. And Hangs drops 1 game. Next game is going to be Kraazy versus SesioM. I think this is a ZVT as well. I believe Kraazy plays Zerg. And I'm wrong. It's a TVT. So, yep, Kraazy is playing Terran, Sesio is playing Terran. And we're just going to hop right into it because it's TVT. We're going to be here a while. In the top right corner, we have SesioM playing the gray Terran squad. In the bottom left corner, with Kraazy playing the dark green Terran. So TVT is definitely a matchup. It's one of the matchups. And that's all I have to say about it. I have nothing else to say about TVT. It exists. You can build units in it. And your opponent, they are also able to build units. Kraazy is a T who picks ZVP. Ah. Doesn't want to play TVP? What's wrong with TVP? It's a fair and balanced matchup, though. Okay. Both players kind of mirroring each other's builds so far. Nothing too crazy. So, are y'all excited for the team reveal later today at 3:30, I think. I think it's just dead, like straight up 3 o'clock. 3 p.m. EST. About. Hold on. I'll just look at the fucking announcements so that I'm not giving false information here. That would probably be the best idea. Players building barracks, another supply depot. Kraazy getting a marine first. Sesio getting just a second supply depot and just going full SCV. So let me just pull up Discord and B. What is our announcements? Yep, there are factories coming out. This is what happens in Ted versus Ted. Okay, the team reveal is at 4 p.m. Eastern, 20 UTC. So that is going to be in about 3.5 hours. So we're going to be done by then. But yeah, that's going to be on the main CPL Twitch channel. So. All right, are we getting variations in the build here? It looks like Kraazy. No, it's just Kraazy. Kraazy's command center was a little bit later. They're both going for FAC expand. Kraazy inched out like an extra Marine though, and they're both going Vultures. Well, actually, hold on. So going Vultures is one of the ways that like TVT can actually end quickly. Because if one player just dedicates hard to making Vultures, the other player also has to dedicate hard to making Vultures because Vultures will hit before tanks come out. And so you can just build enough Vultures where even if your opponent is going tanks, you can just be like, I'll just kill all your SEVs. They're kind of like Mutalisks in ZVZ. And the barracks floating across the map. And so, yep, they see the Vulture coming. And I think Kraazy should be able to be fine and block it. And so it is possible for like if both players dedicate really hard. Ooh, Armory coming out from SesioM, while Kraazy is going for Vulture speed 2-fac Vulture. So Kraazy going for 2-fac Vulture, SesioM going for Goliaths, which should mean that SesioM has the advantage because Goliaths will murder Vultures all day, every day. But again, Kraazy can try and hit before that and just start taking out SCVs. SesioM going 1-1-1 actually. Or no, I'm sorry. This isn't 1-1-1. What am I talking about? He's just getting a starport. He's just getting tech. So we have Vultures coming out. And there's the double Goliath production from SesioM. No machine shops, not even getting tech. They're just going straight into getting Goliaths, and they're probably going to turn this starport into a drop ship and then just drop into the main. This is a TVT build that we've seen a lot from Character, who executes it really well. I'm pretty sure it's actually the only TVT build they know, and it's definitely extremely effective. So the barracks sees the Goliaths, and wow, it's just getting taken out. How does SesioM have vision of that? I think the barracks was just too far over on the edge there. That's crazy. But yeah, yeah, Vulture speeds are done, and now we're getting Spider Mines. So this is kind of the balance where the Goliaths can get killed by the Spider Mines, but the Vultures can get killed by the Goliaths. But the thing is, once you get Goliaths in enough numbers, they just kind of auto-attack and will kill the Spider Mines as they come up. So the Vultures are diving in. Ooh, nice moving shot on the Marine there. Nice moving shots on the other Vulture. And yeah, see, they got the SCVs, and now they're going to start trying to lay Spider... No, wait, the Spider Mine isn't done yet. So a bit of an anti-timing here from Kraazy. He loses all of his Vultures right as Spider Mines are finishing. So he pulled the gun just a bit too soon, mistimed it just too early. And now SesioM has taken a really good advantage and can just kind of start moving across the map with these Goliaths. Meanwhile, back at home, Kraazy is getting siege mode for siege tanks. And this is kind of how like these kinds of games can transition. Oh, and the Goliaths walk all the way across the map, ignoring where Kraazy is setting up the Spider Mines. That's huge. But Kraazy also moving across, sending all their units across the map. So these Goliaths are going to be able to just backstab into Kraazy's base. Without siege mode, siege tanks will get slaughtered by Goliaths. And I mean, there's just rallies of 2-fat Goliath coming out, right? So this Vulture sees the siege tank, the Goliaths come up and tear through it, and SesioM now kind of has this entire base open to them. See, they just are able to auto-attack into there, and now all of these SCVs are going to get melted. The tank is going to try to come down the fight, but it gets dived on top of, just barely pulls back in time. Kraazy pulls back the Vultures, and with siege mode finished, the Goliaths are going to get pushed out, but SesioM has a 10 SCV lead. Oh god, and the Goliaths can just hide behind the minerals and pelt the command center. Kraazy, that means that Kraazy, like, they're just denying mining time for as long as possible. The tanks will get in position and take out the Goliaths, but not before they've done some damage. They've delayed some mining, and now, like I said, SesioM just has that SCV lead, and now they're getting cloaking field for their wraiths to kill siege tanks. SesioM getting up into 2 factory play, well, as is Kraazy. Kraazy getting up into 4 factory, as is SesioM, rather. SesioM actually getting 5 factories. I'm gonna sip my coffee. Ooh, Goliath drop in the natural. Doing some damage, but there are siege tanks and vultures here to kill the Goliaths, so doesn't get too much done. SesioM maintaining their worker lead though. SCV coming across the map, gets hit by the siege tank. This SCV can, oh my god, he's doing it. Let's go! This hero SCV is afraid of nothing except an unsieging siege tank, and he's gonna fucking run. Oh, Spider-Mine's going off, killing, dealing damage to the Goliaths, weakening them up. Now the Wraith is still alive, and it will kind of prevent Kraazy from just winning the game. But yeah, like Kraazy can keep SesioM on this side of the map, or kind of. I mean, when the Wraiths come over, Kraazy's going to need to get Goliaths to counter them. And there is no, oh, there is an armory that's completed. You can see Goliath production in there for Kraazy. Oh, SesioM even sees the 3rd base coming up, and the Wraiths are going to be able to come over here and deny it for just a brief moment. They aren't going to kill the command center. Like, the Goliaths are going to finish, and an extra SCV can come here and finish the command center before the Wraiths actually manage to kill it. But yeah, see, this single Goliath. Oh, but the Comsat stations aren't done yet either, and the Wraiths are going to kill the 2nd SCV that comes and tries to build that base. But there's a 3rd SCV already here. So not too bad, but pretty far delayed. I mean, look at that. SesioM's base is just about to finish, while Kraazy's is still stuck on halfway. Yeah. Behind the SesioM, just still getting well, getting Goliath range now to shoot air things. Bit of a siege up in the middle, taking out some vultures. More like chill caster mode now. Or chill. It's a pretty strong push here from Kraazy. Yeah, I think the tanks really, if they target down the Goliaths, and it looks like that's kind of what they're doing, the Wraith, okay, 1 Wraith lives, and that's going to be enough to like force all these tanks to be like, ah, shit, we gotta leave. No, the Wraith can kill the tanks. Okay, yeah, Spider-Mine comes down, explodes, kills the last remaining tank, and SesioM once again kind of deflects all of Kraazy's army. SesioM now has a 30 supply lead. They have kind of vultures running across the map. Oh, and they're going to be able to dive up here. Those vultures can absolutely take 2 Marines and a Goliath. But they're going to lay mines down first so that the reinforcements can't help. That's so smart. All right. Okay, and they're just focusing down on the SCVs. Picks off some Marines as well. I think 1 tank. See, that's the thing, man. Terran are so lucky. Okay, no, never mind. I was gonna say Terran are so lucky that their attacks like don't have any projectiles, Because, like, you can just A-move tanks and Goliaths through a minefield, and they kind of just work. This Wraith is doing some serious work, though. Holy shit. Like, tanks and Goliaths A-moving through a minefield are, like, kind of safe. Oh! You heard it here first. 2 SCVs will out-heal a tank that a Wraith is shooting. I've been slightly zoomed out for so long that the regular zoom distance looks weird to me now. Like, everything just looks big. Shit, we play this game like this. All right. Oh, point in the chat. Wraiths firing is free. SCV repairing is not free. So technically, SesioM's been getting free money from this. Oh my god. The tank was like 3 shots away from dying, and then it aggroes onto the Goliath. Ooh. Vultures pick off a lot of SCVs there. It's now a 20... What is this, a 28 worker lead for... No, not 28. It's a like 18 worker lead for Sesio here. And again, all these spider mines in the base. Wow, that extra command center is delayed. Spider mine just is nuking things here. Don't do math on air. I'm gonna. This is, yeah, Sesio's just doing a great job of poking around like everywhere and hitting Kraazy, like picking at all the little bits, right? Kraazy's had these really solid pushes that are like pushing deep into Sesio, but just not, Sesio just hasn't quite like lost, right? Like Sesio's been defending really well, but they keep getting pushed back to like this area. But then Sesio has been doing a really good job of having, you know, vultures come here and tax Kraazy's SCVs, of Wraiths coming up here and taxing Sesio's tanks. Oh, but now for the counter hit. There's a siege tank though. But there's more vultures. So, ooh, geez, and those vultures are just outside of range too. So now it's Kraazy's turn to get some serious damage done on Sesio's workers. But with the SCV pool, vultures coming up, they'll get cleaned up. Little conga line of workers coming up. What? What? The tank missed the spider mine and did its full damage to the tank that was next to the spider mine because of the high I didn't wait. If the tanks miss, they do their full damage to the things that are next to the thing that they miss. Right, but it was shooting the spider mine. That tank had more health than it should have died to from the splash. So the tank missed the spider mine that was right here, and instead did all of it, the full damage to the tank next to it. Because the tank was on this side of the spider mine. Holy shit. That's so weird. I think a miss actually moves the attack to a different location. It's how it works. Like, I knew that the splash damage stayed around it, right? It's just I didn't think that like the single target damage also would move like that. The attack location is 1 hex towards the tank. Wow. That's wild. That's pretty crazy. All right, and now SesioM's gonna try to push up onto the ramp here. Just moving these tanks forward into this fight. And I think he really just needs to keep microing the tanks forward. I think getting caught up down here was awful. This was a terrible engagement. Holy crap. And like that, Kraazy is now like, they've taken the supply lead, and Kraazy is also, you know, they've stabilized on workers as well. That was a terrible fight. Holy shit. You just, if he had done an attack, moved the tanks forward, done an attack, if you stuttered step the tanks up the ramp here, they absolutely would have been able to take this fight and take this high ground. But because he just moved and let the tanks fire at them from like right here, they were missing shots, there were tanks in the back not firing, and it was just kind of awkward. And now Kraazy has all this, oh my god! Well, I was gonna say Kraazy has all this map control, but it turns out SesioM built 4 dropships that I was not looking at and completely nuked Kraazy's SCVs count. We're once again 20 SCVs behind their opponent. Kraazy has dropships of their own, however, and could be planning to do something similar over here, but there's already missile turrets, already tanks in position to kind of prevent that. Kraazy now trickling in resources from this 3rd base. I think most of their SCVs are on these patches here. Yeah, now the drops are gonna come right on top, but ooh, Spider Mine. Good unit. Jesus Christ. Tanks just do this, huh? It looks like SesioM finally broke this. I think he brought Race up to start picking these tanks out. And now they're going to try to start breaking the lines here at this position as well, and slowly inching forward. I think SesioM's going to try to take like the lines that Kraazy was holding here and here, and just kind of wedge their sphere of influence. Ooh, run by Vulture, run by on this side of the map as the push keeps coming down on this side. I think this breaks. Yeah, so that's broken, but Kraazy's reinforcing on the high ground here, and reestablishing this 4th base as well, pulling all their SCVs to it. And the thing is, SesioM's been mining pretty reliably from both of these bases, whereas Kraazy's been hiccuped. You can tell by the banks that Kraazy is kind of on the edge of their ropes here. And another huge drop. Like if this takes out, oh, and they're going for the main too. Oh no, this Vulture on the edge, this dropship on the edge. GG as the dropships fly in and drop off into the main, and that is it. SesioM takes this TVT versus Kraazy. Kind of an anticlimactic finale there with the dropships, but it was pretty impressive how SesioM managed to really control that game. So let's go back to our splash screen. And SesioM takes it 1-0 over Kraazy. Next game is going to be Melody versus SesioM, so it should be a ZVT. Melody versus SesioM. And let's hop right into it. Loading the replay, starting the replay, and switching our stream over. At that point, like we probably could have seen battle cruisers, but honestly, drop ships and like dropping mech everywhere, it's pretty crazy just how effective that can be. But we can also see battle cruisers in this matchup. Our favorite Terran player, Cider, plays Sky Terran, and it's fucking amazing. But Cider's not playing this game. This game is being played by, in the white, Attitude Plus, Melody as the Zerg. And in the bottom left, we have HB, SesioM. as the hot pink Terran. Yeah. SesioM putting out their forward supply depot to go ahead and set up the wall here, just to be extra safe. Melody looks like they're going to be going for an overpool. Well, this could be a lot of things. So it's not an overpool actually. The caster curse strikes, and I'm entirely wrong. They're going to be going for a 12 something, which is fine for SesioM. Yeah, so it's 12 hatch. Classic ZVT stuff. I don't have much to add to this point in the game. Both of these players have shown really good games so far, so just going to be excited to see where this game progresses here. Drone getting across the map to scout, sees the forward base, and so that should probably be a sign for Melody that she isn't really going to go into very aggressive like Zergling play. Like, we're not going to see like a massive like Zergling swarm to try and topple the Terran, just because there's the natural wall built in here, and it's really easy for SesioM to just kind of do anything else. Like they can just defend the base pretty easily. I actually wouldn't be surprised to see like an instant lair as soon as the spawning pool finishes. Just for extremely fast Mutalisks. Hey, I'm right. The anti-caster curse. We're 50-50 so far for this game. Oh, that's the wrong button. So Zerglings catch the SCV, unfortunately. He does not make it out alive. Melody setting up their creep colonies. Fac coming out from SesioM. So this could be SesioM's going for like an overall like a mech build, or they're just going for that Goliath timing attack that's very popular. They might just be getting siege tanks or something. And actually, as soon as the SCV is killed, the Hydra Den is laid down. So we are going to be looking for more of a lurker timing attack here from the Zerg player rather than Mutalisks, as I was thinking initially. 2-Fac coming out from SesioM, which feels like it beats Lurker, since you can get siege tanks and siege mode pretty quickly. Yeah, Lurker timing attacks feel really all in as Zerg, because they don't really have the versatility of Mutalisks. Like, Mutalisks can defend. Like, you get into your late game stuff a bit faster, right? Because you're skipping that Muta stage, so you're just going straight to Lurkers, and then you can tech the Defilers pretty cleanly off of that. Actually, a vulture coming out and running across the map. Well, we already have a sunken colony, but I'm not sure about the position here. The Hydra Den is kind of hidden in the back of the base, and we might see a hatchery put down here. In fact, I think we need to see a hatchery put down there. Melody knows that the vulture's on the way, and if there's nothing here to buffer it, the sunken colony won't kill it before it can actually get up the ramp. For Hydras, 5 Hydras about to pop. Lurker aspect is just about finished. I think the drones are really more just body blocking the Vulture, but the Vulture sees the sunken colony and decides it's like, okay, we're not gonna try that. Melody's still just hiding the Hydralisks for as long as possible. And SesioM is actually getting Goliath, so it is going to be the Goliath attack. Which I think Lurkers are good against. Like, I think Lurkers are good against Goliath. Like, I think they are. Because Goliath can't micro against Lurkers. But I guess they have big hitboxes, so, like, there won't be as much splash damage coming down from them. Yeah, so we see a bunch of 3 more Lurkers on the way. So we're going to see the Lurkers kind of run across and get the contain on it. Yeah, see, SesioM is actually even getting care on boosters, and that's not going to really help them at all in fighting Melody's army, because Melody's army is going to be all on the ground. So this is looking like a pretty deadly attack coming up from the Zerg. Like, as soon as these Lurkers just start scuttling across the map, right? And there we go. There's the trigger. We're at, I think, 8 Lurkers. Yeah, 8 Lurkers, and they're going to start scuttling. There's a 9th one in the main. We've got 9 Lurkers, and they're going to start scuttling. And the Vulture does see it, and it's going to try to harass. I don't think Spider-Mines is available. Ooh, the Zerglings catch that Vulture. That is really good, like, timing there. And now the Lurkers can just kind of start getting on top of the Goliaths. Goliaths have an insane DPS. But as these Lurkers are, like, filtering in, you're going to lose the first couple. And now you can just start piggy-hopping them, like, forward towards the Terran natural. And the Terran needs, like, siege tanks or something to fight this, right? Because the Goliaths are taking huge, huge damage. And the Lurkers can just keep jumping, I don't know, leapfrog over each other, up towards the Goliaths, burrowing more, unburrow, burrow, all this stuff. Siege mode on the way, but the Lurkers are inching their way closer to the Terran. Again, the Goliaths have really nice range, but the Lurkers are just needing to inch forward into the natural here before the siege tanks get here. Yep, there's another burrow. And with the repair on the Goliath, that actually is going to be huge in keeping this base alive. It looks like SesioM is actually going to hold this. The first tank is already out. Siege mode is just about done, but SesioM has a huge supply block. I think Melody needs to, like, figure out, like, kind of, like, at this point, right, it's like, okay, we haven't won the game here. How do we transition the damage that we've done in this kind of pseudo-contain into, like, having a better mid-game right now, right? Especially once the tank is revealed. The tank's going to come up and start poking the Lurkers, and the Lurkers kind of are just going to, ooh, here comes the dive. So this could be a huge fight. The Goliaths actually got tripped up on the Zerglings, and almost all of them die. The Lurkers are now kind of in the natural base. They're taking out the missile turret. SesioM needs the scanner sweeps now to catch the Lurkers, and the Lurkers are going to dive. Oh no, they got caught up on each other. There's the scan, but they burrow again, and the Goliaths go just a bit too far forward. So it looks like the Goliath range is about equal to the Lurkers, so with the right, like, proper placement, they can kind of fight them. But yeah, now this entire natural is cut off from mining. I think Melody just needs to, like, figure out, I don't know, this was a really great attack, right? So Melody just needs to figure out, like, once you're down to only these last 2 Lurkers, like, what is the play that you need to do to make sure that your mid-game is now, like, to take advantage of this advantage. Unfortunately, behind all of this, Melody's macro hasn't really been keeping up. We have a 15 worker deficit, but so much bank left over. And I think really it might just be because we're only on 3 hatcheries. There was a Marine up in the 3rd base, and that's going to catch this drone here. It wasn't cleared out. And now Hydras are coming in, and Hydras can fight Goliaths, right? Because that's 10 damage per Hydra. I mean, but again, once the siege tank comes out, they can kind of put pressure. They can kill this missile turret. They can kill, well, the missile turret's going to burn down, but they can kill the ComSat station. They can pick off some SCVs, but the aggression is ending here, right? So where does, oh, this is funny. That drone is just, the Marine does finally see it, and the Hydras do not care. The drone's gonna have to run back to its home. Okay, so another 4th hatchery is being put up in the main. The Hydras are going to take out the Marine, and the 3rd base for Melody is going to get established. But I think, yeah, right, like, this needed to happen during that attack, right? It needed to be, like, at the same time, because right now, we now have all these Goliaths, we have tanks, we have this really strong 5-fac Mech Terran 2 base, and this isn't Kraazy, this is SesioM. And like, yeah, like Melody just kind of, the macro slipped and it didn't have to during that fight, whereas SesioM kind of stayed on top of it. They didn't take too much damage, and it's still that 16 worker lead for the Terran player. Like, the Zerg needed to like double expand behind that, and I think if you were like out here, you can expand once safely, but once Melody took that really good fight and killed that first tank and got the Terran off of mining, they could have double expanded and been really ahead at this point in the game. SesioM's Vultures out on the map looking for any pickoffs they can get. Speed and mines being upgraded. I think the Hydras are going to catch them, though. Well, no, not quite. See scans going down. SesioM sees the 3rd just finished. Only saw the... They can see that the creep is still filling it out. So they know that that base isn't quite done yet. Or they know that the base isn't, like, old, right? Yeah, this is looking pretty rough for the Zerg. Again, like, nearly 20 worker deficit. There's only so many ways I can say that for an interesting cast. But SesioM's playing very defensively, very passively, and so because of that, Melody might have a chance to be able to like macro up and take out and like catch back up. And Zerg is like that kind of race where they can hang on by a thread for a super long time and be very efficient, right? So if Melody is able to kind of get their macro back up and get to Hive Tech and get Defilers, and they can stay on these 3 bases, try and inch out and get their 4th, and they'll be able to sort of take advantage of the fact that SesioM is just kind of playing Mech Terran and staying on their side of the map. Someone in chat asked about upgrades. Terran is on 1-1, so we're about to have +2 armor on Terran, and looks like Zerg is about to be on +2 missile attacks as well. SesioM starting their 3rd base, approaching a 30 worker lead, and I think yeah, with this big Hydra Kraazy Zerg push, like, you can't do, those are siege tanks, man. The lurkers are going to try to get on top, but unfortunately so many accidentally burrow in the back. Yeah, if these lurkers had managed to also get up front with these front lurkers, I think this would have been a pretty even fight. I think if we got burrow, unburrow, and actually Melody could still take this, but all these lurkers in the back are just sitting here. Oh no, that was almost a good fight, but now they're unburrowing and burrowing just a little too late. They are getting on top of the tanks, they are limiting the tank count, but SesioM has 5 facts and can rebuild this extremely quickly, whereas Melody has 11 Hydras in production, but is going to call the GG and leaves the game. So GG's to both of our players. That was a really back and forth, super close. I just think that unfortunately so much attention was paid onto getting those Hydras or getting these lurkers up into the natural and containing here that the macro back at home kind of fell behind, and yeah, but really good play from both of our players. Really showed off how they're good, because honestly, when that first tank showed up, I thought that whole attack was over, and then somehow it just still went on for an extra minute and a half, which is like crazy to know the timing of like, oh, let's bring these Zerglings up and combo them with the Lurkers. So great play there from both of our players. SesioM plays super solid, super defensive. They kept their cool, kept their SCVs alive, and that economic edge brought them a very convincing victory. So let us go back to our splash screen, put in this victory for SesioM versus Melody. SesioM got it. 0-1. So it looks like SesioM is another player who SOStoss prevented SesioM from, or prevented Hangs from getting to the 3-0, and Hangs prevented SesioM from getting a 3-0. But now we have SOStoss versus SesioM. So SesioM played 4 games, so they might still have the 3-0 of the group. Plus bonus is a replay from a group that I already cast a while ago, but SOStoss sent it over and was like, hey, can you cast this just to finish out that group? And I was like, okay. So SesioM versus SOStoss is going to be a PVT. I'm just going to go ahead and start it. I'm just going to hop into it. The last game of Group 36. SesioM is looking to get, actually it's 2 games, because I sent you the game versus Melody, which is Group 36. So we have an SOStoss game versus Melody as well. Group 8, Week 1, when? Okay, we'll add it to the list. In the top right corner, we have SOStoss versus, it has the green Protoss, and bottom left. Once again in the bottom left, we have SesioM as the light pink Terran, so I should have 2 extra games. 2 games because I sent you game versus Melody. Okay, then we're gonna see what the other game is. SOStoss wondering what MMR their opponent is once again. Hopefully it's more than 17 this time. SesioM, average C+. We solved the mystery of the missing games. Probe scouting across the map. Looks like standard stuff. Assimilator. We'll probably see the Cybernetic score on 13 probes, or built eventually. I don't know. Cybernetic score. Cha-cha. There it is. Yep, probe gonna get some harassment done. Shouldn't actually cause too much damage because SCVs are busted. Wrong thing. Wrong button. SCV. SesioM gets the scout in with the SCV. Oh, the +1 attack, air attack. Oh. And SesioM leaves, doesn't they? Don't they? They do. Ho 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 ho. Where's the Citadel? Oh, there's this. Oh, hold on. That. No way. No, my God. If this SCV scouts back, like they're just gonna see this running back home, right? No way. Oh, they're going to go back. They check for the hidden base, and then the Dragoon checks for where the SCV is at. But the SCV is going to fly back up and, like, see what is going on, right? They're going to come back up in here. They're not going to see any other tech. They're not going to see additional gateways. They're not going to see a base being built. And the Dragoon is just scouting around for the Scout SCV, who's now back in the base. They have to keep that +1 attack going. Citadel of Dune is finished, so the Templar Archive should also be built down in the proxy location, and a gateway is thrown down as well. But Sesio already has. They're getting that engineering bay up. Like, they know something's up, and this is why it's so important to, like, keep the Protoss. Actually, I think you know what probably happened was Seo did the move down here, but then did the mineral walk back up so that they would be able to check even if the Dragoon was up here. So this is actually huge, right? Because Sesio kind of knows that what his opponent is up to. Like, he knows it's something sneaky, and usually if it's sneaky, that means that it's going to be DTs. So he's getting the engineering bay for missile turrets. He's getting vultures and mines for spider mines, obviously. And both of those things are what you need to counter, like, Dark Templar. 2 DTs coming out, but the missile turret going up in the natural. So, yeah. Sesio, great read on the game here. Also great vulture micro there, getting shots off on the Zealot. Okay. He's gonna just fly around. Actually, damn, the vulture, the DT that pops from here might have to sit on the ramp, or else the vulture's just gonna get up in here and kill a bunch of probes. Yeah, there it is. He's just gonna sit on the ramp to protect from the vulture. And the other DTs, they're gonna try to run in. I think the play might just be they might just have to run past the missile turret, but it looks like instead they're going to try to tank shots with the Zealot and Dragoon to buy time for the DTs to get up into the main. It's unfortunate if he leads with the DTs. There's a tank, there's a stocked bunker, and the DTs, oh my god, they slide right past, and the Protoss wide walks their way to victory. Mine goes down in the main. DT swipe it. DT swipe the next mine. DT swipe the third mine. SOStoss doing the absolute fucking coolest shit here. They're going to start taking out, making sure that the, trying to kill the SCVs that are building missile turrets. DTs can overpower missile turrets. Oh my god, and the DTs, one more slips in. It looks like one missile turret is getting ready to be built, and SOStoss is going to have to slowly take it out. It just barely finishes. And now SOStoss is full range over the main. Like, now, all they have to do is make sure that, like, whenever a vulture pops, they can just kill it, right? The armory is going to die. The supply depot is dead. Oh, kill the armory. Kill the armory. It's so red. Just kill the armory, please. Please, 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 please don't run into spider mines. No. Okay. Vulture's taken out. SCVs go back to repairing, and they're going to try to target down the factory instead. But there's a missile turret being built up here in the corner that I don't think SOStoss really sees. And an SCV, barely doesn't out repair a Dark Templar. So oh man, and he loses the upgrade as well. But the missile turret does finally come up, and really behind this, Sesio, it's not like Sesio has won the game, right? Or not like SOStoss has won the game, or that Sesio has lost the game. They're still even in workers. The base, oh my god! But if the factory falls, he really needs. If he targets down this factory, that is huge. That would be huge if the factory falls. But no, one of the DTs is moving around. Why? Oh no! That might be. Wait, only one SCV is repairing. One more. No. Okay. Oh my god, the DT rallying away to kill the spider mines actually is what's going to save the factory. If he had just killed the factory. Holy shit. What is going on here? What? No, why? Why did you just kill the factory? Oh, it was so close. The DT is just going to keep killing SCVs though. I mean, the DTs are still alive, and then finally that spider mine will kill the last one. Behind this, SOStoss is a fucking huge army. This bunker's looking very bustable. And I think that's just going to be SOStoss's game plan. The bunker goes down. The DT is going to start one-shotting Marines. The Dragoons are going to take out the expansion. Yeah, they target down the missile turret, but again, like, you really don't need to. I think trying to fight up the ramp is the bad idea. You just want to wedge in here and get damage on the command center, deny the base. Because these Dragoons are taking a ton of shots, but again, still really good play here. Like, if they had busted up the ramp, they would have won, obviously. But the barracks goes down, so that's going to have to get rebuilt. And the natural is denied. Now, SOStoss finally has that worker lead and is getting on those minerals. Getting, you know, their second base saturated. Barracks going up in the natural. And now we have a robo facility for probably drops. As there is a spider mine set up on the third here. I think now that the DT like attack is over, SOStoss has kind of switched their macro back on. They're getting that very quick lead on probes. I mean, so the DT was doing an insane amount of damage, right? I mean, it single snipes so many spider mines just on its own, but behind it, SOStoss wasn't like they were getting units out, but their worker count never actually was higher than Sesio's until like right after the end during this big push right here. But the fact that Sesio still they have to rebuild their armory, they're rebuilding their academy, it is dire for the Terran player. Yep, and there's the shuttle, and 4 zealots, so we're going to have a bulldog happen. You're just going to drop, you know, a zealot on this tank, a zealot on this tank, and a zealot on this tank. There's enough missile turrets that I think it probably won't be able to drop all the zealots, but the important thing is really just dropping the zealots to take that first few volleys of tank shots, right? So that you buy enough time for your main army to, like, push through and then just wreck this whole base here. Dropship coming out from Sesio to load up vultures and hit the main here. SOStoss, however, has photon cannons set up in all their bases. Probe going down, trying to get this. So Sesio is doing a great job of staying out on the map. Like they finished they managed to kill all the DTs. They stayed calm, cool, and collected. And then they were like, okay, let's split these vultures off and make sure that our opponent has the hardest time getting their third base as possible, because that is like the easiest way for them to have an advantage over the Terran at this moment. Okay, so push up in here into the main base. A lot of Dragoons taking tank shots, and the 4 zealots in the shuttle are a little bit delayed. They do finally drop on top of the tanks and buy enough time for the Dragoons to get up here. And I mean, really, it's honestly just the zealots are tearing through these tanks. Holy shit, dude, Protoss is busted. Yeah. Oh my god, and the target fire on the spider mines is so sick. Holy shit, SOStoss is fucking go. What the hell? Like, every single spider mine has just been like, okay, this is DT kills it, that DT kills that one, this zealot hits that one, that zealot hits this one. And I mean, yeah, the rally here, that's game, right? Like, there's no way for Sesio to, like, kind of beat this. You have zealots who can tear through the SCVs. Yeah, I was going to say the Protoss is upgrades, so the SCVs can't fight the Dragoons as effectively as they want to. And that is going to be a win for our Protoss player. SOStoss prevents Sesio from getting the 3-0. Let's go back to that splash screen. Put on these scores. And then we have 2 more hidden replays that weren't in the folder, but we were updated with that I'm going to have to put in. So SOStoss with 2 wins, Sesio with 2 wins, and Hangs with 2 wins. All right, now. Okay, yeah, hold on. Let's just get these games started. Let's just get these cast and I'll fucking diagnose my computer later. We have couple last games. For Group 36 of Week 2, we have SOStoss versus Melody in a ZVP on Eclipse once again. Brood Wars 2nd Edition CD was native on Mac OS. I played it on my Mac Power PC. Too bad that fell off. It should run natively on Linux. Huh. That's interesting. Alright. In the top right corner, we have Melody as the white Zerg player, and the bottom left we have BSL 14 SOStoss as the dark green Protoss. In the third crash of the day, Jesus, we are having a time here. All right. Pylon, and then probably see the gateway since SOStoss is at the gateway expand before. Melody actually going for overpool this game instead of going for the 12 hatch like I think she did in the last PVZ. Has she played PVZ this group? Am I getting my players and games mixed up? I'm not entirely sure right now. All I know for sure is that I feel very bad for Dada. Man, why you say 9 pool overpool? Because it was an overpool. Overpool is 10-9? No, overpool is you make an overlord and then you make a spawning pool. Why do we feel bad for Dada because no, it was a 9 pool. Okay. Yeah, we feel bad for Dada because we have 15 different streams for these two groups, and they're gonna have to, and they're in charge of getting them uploaded on the CPL. No, it was a 9. Okay, so is overpool not just overlord into spawning pool? Overpool is when you build your pool above the gas. This is right pool. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Melody got her overlord before her spawning pool. 9 pool is you go to 9 drones and then you get spawning pool and then overlord. Nah, for real, overpool is 9 overlord, 9 pool. That's what this was, wasn't it? Okay. I don't know what to believe anymore. First scouting overlord comes over here, sees that the photon cannon is coming up and is just gonna retreat. I'm gonna forget what I know of StarCraft. And the overlord's just gonna hide above, probably fly above the cliffs here. Probe sees the extra hatcheries going down and just throws down the Nexus with only 1 cannon defending it. This is actually a really late Nexus. I mean, we got cannon, forge, and gateway. Champion 91, that's neat and all, but the real question is, should I scout on Pylon? Well, SOStoss just scouted on Gateway in PVZ. I think I know a little more about Protoss versus Zerg than you do, pal. Yeah, so Melody, you got enough Zerglings to keep the Protoss honest so they just can't, like, run out of their base and come attack you. And you're going straight to lair, which is pretty good. And just getting those drones up. 9 drones. Got the minerals there. I think we should be seeing that hydrogen pretty soon, I think. Unless we're going straight to Spire. Spire would be pretty effective because SOStoss has not gone Stargate, and that's like, you have to, like, one of the things is, you have to get Stargate in quotation marks. The reason you have to get Stargate is that if your opponent just goes Spire and you don't have Corsairs, you're kind of screwed. And so that's what I think we're going to see this game. I mean, you need the pylon. The pylon, you can throw the cannons up here, but if you don't have Stargate and your opponent is going mutas, like, you need to have like 2 cannons ready at like your main and your nat ready to prepared. Like, you can build cannons to defend it, and like there's ways around it. But mutas are a good unit when you get a lot of them. Oh. Sunken colonies being built for the Zerg back at home, while SOStoss is going for that speed zealots. +1 speed zealot kind of charge, a lot timing that up. They hit, I think, in their last PvZ. And there is the photon cannon going up in the main, and a pylon going up in their natural. Wait, is that the photon cannon? Yeah, it's a photon cannon. Where's the Templar Archive? Oh, it's down here. Okay. So, nope, wrong buttons. Okay. Yeah, so, they have the pylon here, so they'll be able to throw up the photon cannon in their natural mineral line as well, so they will be defended against mutas. Like, that's the big thing, right? Like, if your opponent is going mutas, you do need these photon cannons in your mineral line, otherwise they can just kind of bully your probes for free. And with these charge lots +1, are they? +1's done now, right? Okay, no, +1 still hasn't quite started. Ooh, 2 zealots get surrounded and taken out. That's pretty big, halving the amount of zealots that are immediately available. Some Zerglings are also coming up behind to try and split these zealots off as well. And then the mutas come out, and these zealots are going to get killed by these sunken colonies, but not before they get up into the main and probably get 1 or 2 drone kills. Here as well. 1 drone falls, and it looks like that's all that SOStoss is going to get with that first round of zealots. And now High Templars with Storm are going to be on the way. Storm is one of those things where it either is amazing against Mutalisks or you miss every single shot, right? Because mutas are so microable that if the Zerg is paying attention, they can kind of dart out of the area right as the Storm is right when it's cast. But if the Zerg isn't paying attention, the mutas clump up, you cast 1 Storm, and they all die. Looks like SOStoss is going to be going for an Archon to move with his Zealots. That's also very good because mutas will clump. There's a very precise range at which mutas can hit an Archon, and the Archon can't hit it, but that is insanely tight micro that you really don't expect it to see even, like, very often, even at the ASL level. Like, you know, a game, like an ASL game where a pro player manages to get, like, mutas. Oh, wow, Zealot's got up here in the 3rd. That's pretty neat. But, like, an ASL game where the Zerg player is able to get muta shots off on the Archon, that's super impressive. And so, like, you really aren't expecting to see that at, like, the CPL level at all. Like, if a player can do muta moving shot on an Archon and not get hit, then they probably should be a coach and not playing. You know, behind this, Melody's just been getting straight, like, Mutaling, but they're also getting their Hydralisk upgrades, so we should see a big Hydra switch here fairly soon. And where are the mutas? Looks like a drone is kind of sent out to take a sneaky 4th. Yeah, looks like Melody actually only made 3 Mutalisks, which is pretty good. The question is, are the Hydras that are going to come up behind this like going to be enough? And I think they will be. There are 3 High Templar with SOStoss's army. And we're also getting into the lurker, anti-lurker tech, right? So robos and dragoons with range. So, you know, both players are getting into like a reasonable mid-game position. would these Zerglings have an opportunity? They could jump on the High Templar. Ooh, but, okay, the Zealots and the Archon close in, leave just enough of a gap for the High Templar to get the safety, and the Zerglings are not going to be able to pick any of them off. That's huge. If the Zerglings had been able to, this attack would just have to sit back home. But because, ooh, but the High Templar are leading the army, and all three of them are sniped. Melody can just run back to the safety of their Sim City, and yeah, exactly. This attack has to start like retreat, right? Because it doesn't have, without the High Templar, it doesn't have the explosive area damage to actually fight Hydralisks. So really great play there by Melody there, sniping out the High Templar. Or like threatening them from the back with the Zerglings, they move to the front, and then the Hydras come in and pick them off as they are leading the charge. Meanwhile, Melody getting their 4th base up. They know that SOStoss is looking for their 4th as well. And Melody just keeps pumping out those Hydralisks. About even worker supply. We've kind of stalled out in the 30s and 40s. SOStoss has replaced one High Templar, another on the way, right? Like, you really want to just keep building them. Try to figure out. Okay, so Melody's army is kind of split between these 3-ish bases. Oh, lurkers on the ramp. That's gonna be huge. That's gonna make this taking this base very annoying. It's actually kind of funny because in ZVT you want all your lurkers clumped up on one spot, but in ZVP you kind of want to spread them out so that a single storm doesn't nuke your entire lurker stack. So here comes the big move out by SOStoss, right? And we have lurkers in position. Again, High Templar are we have 2 High Templar with the army, and it looks like we only have maybe 2 storms worth of energy off of both of them. And yeah, with all the how many lurkers are being produced, how many like Hydras are out already, and how many Zerglings are going to be reinforcing. Hive is on the way. Some kind of fight's happening. Yeah, it looks like a Zealot kind of got mis-microed out. And so, yeah, the really scary moment is once that Hive finishes and we get Adrenalings, like, Zerg is in a very, like, good position. The upgrades still favor SOStoss. Zealots will still 2-shot Zerglings. And the forward lurkers here are going to get taken out. There's a lot of lurkers unburrowed up front. They're kind of body blocking for the Hydras. But a huge storm comes down, hits so many of the Hydras. Where is Melody's army during all of this? Another huge storm absolutely melts through the Zerg, but there's so much more in production. Zerglings are coming back to backstab on the Dragoons, and they're really going to help take them out. The fucking lurkers are burrowing behind this as well. Mutas take the fight, but the Archon is taking them out. A storm goes down on an egg that is building a Hydralisk, but unfortunately the Zerg is going to collapse around the Protoss. Both of the players' supply is falling, but I think just the sheer power of the Protoss units is going to take to be able to win this fight. Unfortunately, one more Archon falls to these sunken colonies, and the Zerg is not broken, and they still have their 4th base building. Behind this, SOStoss has their 3rd, so both players are getting into sort of their late game economies, but again, like, SOStoss shot off a lot of their units trying to break this natural, and all they really got was those cheap, expendable, and easy to replace Zerg units. It will take some time for the lurkers to rebuild, but that time is also going to be the time that SOStoss is taking to rebuild their army for another push. Yeah. Meanwhile, we have Zerglings playing like hide and seek across the map. Just, you know, being out on the map and getting that vision, like wherever you can. The Hydra here is a good move. Hydra over here could can check for the 4th whenever it feels like that is about to happen. And now the Zerg is actually ahead of the Protoss in supply, which is usually a bad thing. Zerg is on 4 gas, which is the scariest, like, anything in the game. They're getting Defilers. We could see Ultralisks, and Ultralisks are also insanely powerful. Defilers are great because you just throw down Plague, and now all of a sudden the fact that Zealots take half damage from Hydralisk doesn't really matter. Here's another big push by the Protoss. A big Storm takes out a lot of Hydralisk. Another Storm is thrown out on the Zerglings, and now it's just Hydras. The Zealots are buffering, but they're thinning out. And here come the reinforcing Zerglings from the back, from every base, coming in, attacking, wrapping around the Protoss, getting every single Dragoon, and completely resetting SOStoss's army almost. Archon does spawn, but it is quickly melted by the Hydralisk fire, and it looks like Melody is going to take this fight as well. And that's 2 fights in a row where, like, SOStoss, ooh, that is a huge storm, really changed the calculus of the battle, but the Adrenalings are getting on top of the Dragoons, and just getting all that extra damage, weakening the Protoss army up as much as possible. And again, like, Melody's just hanging in there, but SOStoss is now, like, taking these extra bases. Neither player is really doing anything to contain the other, and that usually benefits Zerg, but if Protoss is able to get, like, all these extra bases up, they're going to be able to go, okay, I've kept my opponent on 4 bases, I can just out-macro them and keep taking these slightly inefficient fights. Because there hasn't been a single fight where one side has decisively overwhelmed the other, right? So as long as they keep taking these really close fights, if SOStoss is able to take and hold these extra bases, they will come out ahead of their opponent. Melody going in to take their 5th hatchery, and again, SOStoss hasn't really explored this bottom half of the map. I think they feel like they've been containing Zerg on these 3 right here and taking these really close fights. They haven't really scouted down and checked these bottom bases for the Zerg, right? Because there's been so much action in this sort of center plaza. And now we have a lot of Zerglings just running around the map looking for backstabs, and this is huge, right? If these Zerglings come up, they can just easily kill this base. They're Adrenalings melt through photon cannons, and this is going to cause, like, have to cause, like, so much of, yeah, just look how fast they kill cannons. Now, with 3 cannons already built up here, Jesus Christ, yeah, see, like, how much of SOStoss's army has to move to try and, like, defend this base, right? And then they have to move back and try and make sure that the main Zerg army doesn't actually move out. So this is an opportunity for, if Melody wanted, she could then come and take this little middle here. As more Zerglings are trickling in, they're going to be able to kill this cannon extremely quickly. The attack from up here is also going to come in and sandwich these 2 cannons. Nope, they're actually going to dive out. I think we're going to see a Plague come down on the army as it is coming out. Oh, Dark Swarm, actually. That's very good. But the Zealots under Dark Swarm are good enough that they will clear the Zerglings out. The Zerg isn't quite on... Ooh, they're about to be on +3 armor. And that's really going to be the limit for when Zerglings become the absolute greatest unit in the game. It's because when the Zerg is on +3 armor, the Zealots... It is impossible for them to 2-shot, and the Archon needs +3 attack to be able to, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. That Defiler is the luckiest. I think our Protoss is on +3 attack, so, oh, and they're going to try to move in again. But again, Melody has +20 supply. Our Zerg is far and away ahead. I think SOStoss is finally going to try and dive down on some of these lower bases. But that's a lot of lurkers on the high ground. The Zealots are kind of just going to filter in and get absolutely blasted by the splash damage. But as the High Templar moves forward, he'll be able to throw down the Storm, and this base should get busted. Meanwhile, this base is... Oh, just barely hanging in there, but Melody's establishing their 4th at the top now. And again, now the Zerglings coming in to reinforce are going to just start tearing through more. And now here's the reinforcement Hydralisks. So a lot of drones are dying, but I think Melody might be able to clear up this army here. You might see... Ooh, not quite. Protoss still is a very powerful, but now these reinforcing lurkers are going to come in and save this very bottom base. I think we're finally going to get to a point where these Zerglings are going to actually kill this base at last, maybe? +3 armor is still not quite done, but Adrenalings still are pretty OP. Yeah, it looks like the lurkers are burrowed up here. There is a lurker, but the Archon 1v1 does work in the Zerg's favor. Zerg has a huge bank, is still putting on the pressure with these Adrenalings. I think really just need to throw down like 5 extra hatcheries in your main base or something just so you can spend these resources. I think we're seeing a lot of what we saw in the last game, where Melody is kind of getting out on the map and getting all these aggressive things done, but then the macro is just falling behind. Still 30 supply ahead though, so Zerg isn't like really, in terms of supply, isn't behind at all, right? It's only a 4-worker difference, but oh, and there's no observer up here with this army, so these zealots are going to get like cut through extremely quickly. Finally, one will show up. But 4 base v 4 base, that does absolutely favor the Zerg. However, the Zerg's 4 bases are fresher, and they're even reestablishing up here. The observer actually left, and now these two are stranded up here. This probe is even going to die, trying to establish the base. The Archon falls, the probe dies, and if SOStoss doesn't, that's a lot of Zerg. Let's see. So we have lurkers coming in from the front, Zerglings coming in from the back. Again, God, the lurkers are just burrowing a bit too far. You know, you could be a lot more aggressive with these. They have a lot of HP, and you know, but they still are going to get on top of the base, melt through the cannons, probably buy enough time for the Hydras to get up here, and this is getting dangerously close to being GG for the Protoss player. They'll only have 1 mining base left. They're going to lose all these probes. They don't really have any army to speak of, and that is a lot of lurkers melting through the Protoss. The probes are going to probably get picked off as they run away. Melody, once again, still not a great storm there. And Melody reestablishing a 5th and a 6th base here. With the Protoss stuck on only one base, and at any moment Melody could just make 50 million Zerglings and run through all of this. I think we are watching the end of the game here. High Templar get picked off, and the Zerg, yeah, they're just going to start swarming Zerglings across the map. 3 Zerglings with 3 armor and adrenal glands absolutely can fight 3 zealots. Ooh, the nice storms, 2 storms picking off the Zerglings as they're reinforcing. But again, the lurkers are just kind of dealing all this extra damage to the zealots, and they are dying slowly. And yeah, SOStoss has a huge bank to work with, but again, like they are falling behind, and they really do need to establish this base so they can last longer. But Melody's just spending her money. The Zerg has double the supply of the Protoss, which again is very bad. It's bad for the Zerg to even be even with the Protoss. That for them to be this far ahead in supply is cataclysmic. Yeah, and see the lurkers up here. They're just gonna burrow, spread out, and yeah. I think Melody has done a good job here picking apart their opponent, and they're going to be picking up this game as a win very soon. Oh my god, that Archon was one shot. Could have just killed the lurker. Does that lurker have 10 kills? Where are these lurkers sitting at? 10, 5, 3, 4, 1. That's a lot of kills on those lurkers. And here's the Zerg, the final thing, killing the last Protoss army. And then I think they're just going to start running across the map and hitting the natural, right? Like, you've defended the bases. The Protoss has been starved of resources, starved of room. And, yeah. That's going to be about it. Dragoons rallying up to the middle of the map. The last remnants of SOStoss's bank. We have a bunch of drones fighting a zealot bravely. They're all going to die. Yeah. SOStoss catching up in supply, but again, their bank is completely empty now. So it should, like I said, like they have one good army in them. Melody has like 3. We've been taking this top left base here, moving drones around, resaturating all their other bases. Here's the big push. This needs to get extreme damage done, but we have Ultralisks on the way. A lot of Ultralisks on the way. Extra hatcheries, extra overlords. And Melody's bank also is being spent. However, Melody has the bases to kind of remine it out, right? We have 2 active mining bases. We're even taking the base over here. Plague down on the Dragoons. That, ooh, that hurts. Those shields will get melted through extremely quickly. And as the Zerg comes back, they're gonna like kind of backstab the Dragoons. They're gonna melt. Just watch how fast they all die. And that is gonna be GG. And Melody is going to take this game versus SOStoss. In a really back and forth. Like I actually honestly thought there were moments where the Protoss was just gonna win, but this Melody hung in there. So let me go ahead and add that to our list. Melody 1-0 SOStoss. So GG's to that. So that is where we stand as far as CPL this week. Somebody pinged me in something. And then we are also have one more game for to wrap up a missing game from a week 1 group that we casted, week 1 group 36. And that is going to be SOStoss versus Bold Eagle because they asked me to cast it. So I was like, okay. Where is it? I put it in here somewhere. Yeah, here we go. It's going to be another Zerg versus Protoss. And we're going to hop right into it. This is the end of this technical CPL preseason week 2. I don't think this is going to get included in the VOD gets uploaded, so it is absolutely just a bonus thing. So, yeah. Let's switch our stream over here. And this is going to be the last thing we do today because I'm afraid my computer will crash if we go any longer. What am I clicking on? Okay. Okay. Top right corner, and this is on Polypoid, so that's how you know it's a week 1 game. Top right corner of Polypoid, we have Bold Eagle as the yellow Zerg, and the top left corner we have SOStoss as the green Protoss. Another ZVP. And in exactly 2 hours from now, you can catch the team reveal stream for the Coach-Pupil League. And find out if you're playing in the CPL. You can find out what team you're on, what tier you are, and who your coaches and CPL staff coordinators are going to be for this season. It's going to be super hyped. Tune into it and have a great time. And again, also, be sure to, if you're watching this stream, we're kind of at the end now, so this part really isn't gonna matter. But remember, if there's any hype moments, any cool happenings, be sure to clip it. Post it in the CPL Clips channel. Helps other people who can't catch up with the live streams sort of get their. It lets them sort of catch up with like some of the best moments that happened during these games. It lets the CPL staff. It makes it easier for them to make hype videos because they have so more clips to pick from, and also it helps like the people who stream it on. It helps the channels that are streaming it, so the actual casters. It helps kind of just makes it easier to promote the CPL. I don't think this wall works. Can you build a gateway here? I'm not sure if this wall works. That looks too tight for a gateway. No, you can build a gateway there. You can build a gateway there. I think. But Bold Eagle going for a 3 hatch, going ahead and getting their 3rd hatch down here in the 3rd base. SOStoss is going to scout that and know kind of what's up. Once you see that hatchery going down, you'll probably come back up and see that they also are getting their natural hatchery. And okay, so the gateway does fit there. That looks very strange. I guess it does kind of work because there's a little glitched corner right here. Sure, I guess. We have Bold Eagle, 3 hatcheries. Yeah. In the chat saying you can't get the goons out like this, which is unfortunate. You probably would want the pylon maybe up here right under the nexus. But second cannon going down as we see a couple of Zerglings come up. I think that makes sense. Bold Eagle just about to hit 100 gas, so we're going to see if it's going to be an immediate lair, and it is going to be an immediate lair instead of like Zergling speed or anything. So there's the transfer over to the natural base. Yep. So the Zergling speed started. Both players getting up to the standard stuff. A Dragoon actually coming out really quickly from SOStoss, which is kind of odd because the Dragoon is going to pop out on the outside here. And the only reason I could think that you're getting a Dragoon this early is to kill this Overlord as fast as possible. And with the Dragoon popping out here, I don't think it can't get past in here to kill this Overlord. The first 2 Zealots are out on the map. They're going to come and harass the third base. There's no Sunken Colony up, so this should be pretty effective. Bold Eagle doesn't really have the Zerglings to fight this. Meanwhile, back at the main of Bold Eagle, they're getting their Spire up. So it is going to be Muta play. And SOStoss looks like they're going to lose these 2 Zealots to the Zerglings. Oh, they get 1 more drone, and they unfortunately don't really trade with these Zerglings, and the Zerglings are going to get that surround and kill him, unfortunately. We have Citadel of Dune coming up somewhere. Is the Bold Eagle hiding the Citadel of Dune? Yeah, I think we see he canceled the Dragoon. I don't know where it's at. I think it's gone. But he canceled the Dragoon. I think the Dragoon was supposed to kill the Overlord so that the Citadel of Dune was hidden tech. But the cannons over here in the natural should also still keep the Overlord from seeing it. Yeah, so Spire's finished. Hydroden starts. I guess we're not going to see a lot of Mutas come out. Oh, there's the Dragoon. Poor guy. So sad. Oh, nope, wrong button. Okay. Yeah, really fast Templar Archives. And I think with the Bold Eagle not really going for Ogre Zerg with a ton of Mutas, that should be fine. Could be more of a Hydra timing push. Extra cannons being laid down by SOStoss. 1 in the main as well, just in case there's Mutas, since SOStoss really hasn't been able to get the scouting information on what exactly their opponent is doing. Yeah. 1 more Zealot's going to try to trickle out, but there are Zerglings. Is this another group? Yes. Well, this is Group 36 from Week 1. This replay was not uploaded into that group when I cast it like 2 weeks ago or something. So we're catching up on it per request. +1 Zealots are moving out now, so they're going to try to put pressure on the Zerg. And again, like, I think one of the options that Protoss has is to try and snipe the Hydra Den, right? Just suicide these Zealots in, kill the Hydra Den, and then like the opponent really can't do that much pressure to you. Instead, they're shaving 4 off into the third, 4 into the natural. Some Hydras pull from the third, actually, to try and to defend the nat base, and they get kind of caught up on the ramp. And there's no defense here on the third, no sunken colonies built. So the Zealots are just going to clean up the Hydras in the base, and they're going to be able to... Oh, they're targeting down the Evolution Chamber. To aggro down to the sunken colony, as the others are going to try to pull out the Evolution Chamber. I don't think they're going to quite get it. Evolution Chamber is very fucking beefy, so I think the Hydras will get up here and save it just in time before SOStoss is able to deny the +1 attack. A single High Templar floating across the map. And Bold Eagle is sitting pretty. Yep, Zealots tearing down the gateway so that the higher tech units will be able to actually leave the base as Singularity Charge and 3 Dragoons load up. Since around 9 is when Zerg usually starts getting lurkers in a regular game. So we should see lurker aspects start upgrading here pretty soon for the Zerg. Overlord speed, Hydralisk range, and +1 are all in production. And another move out with 2 HTs and... oh no. Up on them. So both of the High Templar are dead, and that means that this attack basically is over. Back at home, Bold Eagle can just spam out Hydralisks, and they'll eventually be enough to tear through all of this. The Sim City at the Nat is really good. The Hydras can hide behind these buildings and just take pot shots at the Zealots. We have Hydras on the ramp up here. Sunken Colony is finished. 11 Hydras in production finishing up. Zerglings pop to come and start taking out things, Dragoons and stuff. But SOStoss is muscling their way through here. I'm not exactly sure how this fight has gone like this. I think it's just because so many Hydras were being built at this third base. There really wasn't anything to... It still takes a while for them to get up to the natural. And now, oh god, no. If they snipe the Hydra, then that actually is huge. These Zealots can come up and trade really well with these Hydras. And then the next round from Protoss is going to be what is going to kill this. Unfortunately, I mean, the Zealots are just going to run up into the main and get as much economic damage as they can. And again, it's just going to be... As these waves keep filtering out from SOStoss, Bold Eagle isn't going to be able to reinforce their Hydralisk count. But the Hydra Den finishes pretty quickly. So, yeah. Here comes the second wave. We have 2 High Templar with the army now. And the Zerglings will just get melted by the Zealots. The Zealots will tank the shots from the Hydras. And the High Templar are casting Storm and getting some pretty good shots. Archon morphs as some more Hydralisk spawn. I think this attack should get deflected. But, again, there's just more Zealots, right? The Zealots just rally over. And they kind of just act like they're acting like vultures in during a 2-fact push where you just start rallying them over. But unfortunately, they aren't joining the fight and they aren't soaking these shots. So the Hydras are tearing through the Dragoons here. The Archon's doing its best job at fighting, but I mean, shit. Like the Protoss is still keeping up the pressure. They've even established their third base, so they're doing pretty good here. Of course, behind this Bold Eagle is getting a 4th at the bottom base right there. Sunken Colony falls. And that wave of Protoss is also dealt with, but what about the next? The sunken colony is dead. We're once again not mining from our natural, and we have like 8 zealots here, 7 zealots ready to come in and attack again, and that's enough to kill these hydras. But SOStoss is choosing to wait for the observer, wait for some High Templar to reinforce as well, because you know, like, if a single lurker exists, this fight is over. So the Hydras are going to try to move out, and then yeah, that's a lot of zealots. You know, an even amount of Hydras and zealots, the zealots probably will kill them. Now the High Templar are joining up with the army, and they're both going to come in for the attack. The Hydras move down, but that is a huge storm. A lot of damage done on the Hydras. Another storm goes down, hurting the Hydras. The High Templar are now out of energy. Oh, one even gets sniped as they try to morph an Archon. We have a huge, like, little army back here that isn't joining the fight. But these Hydras are going to get taken out. The reinforcement Hydras are probably... Oh, and another lurker egg is made, but it will get tore down by the Zealots. Yeah, these Hydras should... Oh my god, a 1 HP lurker egg. A storm coming down here would kill all of them. But the lurker morph, it finishes, and that is going to make this this aggression so much harder, right? Now the Zealots are getting on top of the lurkers, and that is a lot of damage. The lurkers actually get melted down as more Hydras are building. I mean, look at the supply tabs, right? Or look at the production tabs. SOStoss is macroing so much behind this. Bold Eagle has a single lurker. Well, a Hydralisk in production. The lurker died immediately. And now this second base is going to fall, and it looks like SOStoss is going to take this game from week 1 that we didn't cast when we cast this group. So congratulations there to SOStoss. And that's going to be it for today. That's all of our games. A lot of really fun games, a lot of back and forth, a lot of weird things that happened. But yeah, glad to see it again in a little under 2 hours. Be on the lookout for the CPL, for the Coach-Pupil League Twitch channel to go up, because of it's going to be the team reveal, and that's a lot of fun. So tune into that. It's great. There's a link, of course, on the announcements channel of the CPL Discord. Of course, if you follow the CPL channel on Twitch, you'll get the notification when they go live. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. And that's it for me. Bye.